Alright, everyone. Today's episode is super special because we have a HYROX Doubles Men, one of the winner from the HYROX Doubles Men May 2025 in Mumbai. So let's meet Likhith. So Likhith, please introduce yourself. Like, what are you? Since how long you've been training? Everything about yourself.
For a brief intro about me, I'm Likhith. I am from Mangalore. I train in ground sport fitness. As you see the jersey of GSF I'm wearing. Uh, I am a long distance runner, so into a category called ultra running. We do races beyond 42 kilometers, and my max distance has been 100 kilometers, multiple times actually, thrice, and a lot of races above 50, like almost 10 to 15 races are there above the 50-kilometer distance. So
So you
I'm
run for a
mostly
living.
specialized in that. Somewhat, but then professionally not into running. This is all
Ah,
semi-professional. Professionally into supply chain management. I was part of
okay.
Flipkart group in Bangalore and spent time 4 years with them. Quick commerce, the boom of quick commerce and e-commerce after COVID. I was part of operations team traveling across India. Then moved out of Flipkart, and then I'm exploring startups and exploring new fitness ventures also. Like HYROX is a new thing for India, but it's not new for the world, and it's
Right.
not new for us, for me also, because I've been training like this since quite a lot of time, like easily 5 years. So
Oh,
that's
so
how
you
moved
knew
into.
HYROX since 5 years now.
No, not exactly. So HYROX started somewhere in 2017, 2018, somewhere in Germany. But we didn't know about this. I always did hybrid training. So one fact about me is you think that I'm a long distance runner and that I run a lot. In general, long distance runners do run minimum 50 kilometers, 60 kilometers per week. If they're doing like 100K or 80K, that's how
Hmm.
the general scene is. But I've always been a low mileage runner.
Okay.
Mainly, it is accumulated over years. So I've been running since I was age 9 or 10, but it was not for running. It was for cricket, and I used to play club cricket. I represented
Ah,
Mangalore in under 19. I've gone till state selection, but not played for the Karnataka state. But I was a wicket keeper. So wicket keepers always have a different training compared to the rest of the team. The rest of the team does something. The wicket keeper will still have to do wicket keeping because there's no other. There are only two keepers in one team in most of the squads. So someone has to do keeping in the back, even in nets. So bowlers will keep changing, but wicketkeeper doesn't change because
correct.
there is
Correct.
no
Yeah.
rotation in wicketkeeper. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
we used to play long matches like test matches, 90 overs. So 90 overs is 90 into 6. So 540 plus, like there are extras added over and above it. That many times you're squatting and getting up daily in one day. So the amount of endurance that is built is very high for me in general. So running, even like I've been running properly long distance since 8 years, but that has not been like 50, 80 kilometers per week. It has always been 25, 30 kilometers per week, but and only one run. So even during my peak 100 kilometer training, during my first 100K in 2022, I trained for like a 6 month win, like a 5 month almost, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. Yeah, 7 month window. And November was the race, Malnad
Hmm.
100. Even during that training, even during the peak week, my max distance in a week was 35 kilometers, and that was only in one run, not more than one run. And rest of the 6 days, so 7 days, 1 day's run, 6 days was workouts. So I was part of a gym called F45. F45 is again functional fitness. F stands for functional, and 45 is 45 minutes. It's a time-based
Okay.
workout, but it's a GSF type, but it's more structured. It's again an international chain of gyms. So I was part of it in Bangalore. So there we built our conditioning base. So conditioning is very high. Strength is always a little back. It's all at 60-70% of your one rep max. So
Hmm.
build the conditioning and ran a little lesser. But that has always kept me fit enough to run long distance because I never took rest days in that time. So I used to work out for 45 days, 60 days without a rest day continuously. And then I used to take a deload week, a 1 week complete deload, and then again repeat the cycle. So I had a different training philosophy. It is not
Okay.
part of any philosophy. You won't find it anywhere. Like nobody recommends it.
Yeah.
That is, I have adjusted to it because I knew
Right.
that I could not run 100 kilometers in training to train for 100. So I had to simulate it. So if you do a 45-day block, so 45 days one block. So if I do
Hmm.
45 days, after 30 days, every day is like when I start any workout after 30th day or somewhere after 20 days, there's so
Hmm.
much fatigue when I'm starting. Feels like I already ran 15, 20 km when I'm starting. So I'm working through fatigue. So that training
Okay.
program worked at that time for
Hmm.
mileage because there the goal was endurance. In HYROX,
Okay.
the goal was not endurance. So that's why there are rest days now in my program. So
Right. Right. Okay. All right, mine. Thanks again for joining us and giving the time to talk. So currently we'll just have a random, raw conversation. No, nothing special as such. Whatever. I mean, I'll be asking few questions related to HYROX only. Since you have won and got the flag home with your partner, right? We will ask about your partner as well and few, technicalities, technical questions or your experience as such regarding HYROX. And in case there are any concerns, we can edit it out later in the edit. So no issues in that. So let's begin. So tell me, like, how did HYROX come to your mind? How did you, why did you, choose to compete in HYROX? And was it the first time you did? Was it the first time you won? Or, I mean, what is it? What is the complete, let's say, story behind, getting to know HYROX as well as getting into, competing HYROX?
So HYROX as an event was not known to me till 2024, that is last year. Till my trainer in Bangalore in F45 told me that there is something called as HYROX, which exists in the world. So I didn't have an idea that there's something called as HYROX till then. That was when I was in Bangalore. So he said that it will happen in India, but it's not confirmed when. Might happen
Hmm.
in next 1 year or 2 years. So event nothing is confirmed because it's again a franchisee business and we don't know who has taken
Correct.
it. So I was training as hybrid as usual. I was a low mileage runner. I used to run that low mileage for a ultra runner. It's still high on it. It's 30 kilometers per week, approx with one run. And I did hybrid training, but I trained every day. Like I just wake up and train, like a general routine it was.
Hmm.
So when he told about the event, we thought, okay, this seems interesting. And he said that you guys have potential because you're a running base and it's a majorly running event, and you have
Hmm.
decent strength for your amount of endurance you have. So you should
Correct.
try. He said, okay, let's try. Then we didn't know the
Correct.
format because nothing was. We didn't know website also. Thought, okay, let's see, something must be there. HYROX. So then I was still focused on ultra running. And then in 2024, as the mid-year reached, we got to know that okay, HYROX is happening in India next year. But actually, initially before that, I thought I'll do the one in Singapore, and it was I think in August 2024. I thought I'll just go and see what happens. I'll just go like a family trip, and I'll do one Sunday HYROX, and I'll see what is happening,
Hmm.
and then maybe figure out the later on as it happens in India. Based on that, I'll see.
Hmm.
But that didn't happen. Like I was tied up with work, and then didn't go for that. Then there was an event called Yodha. So Yodha
Hmm.
is an Indian like franchisee event, and that was happening in Bangalore. It was happening in Feb. That was announced much before HYROX, and
Okay.
HYROX was not confirmed. Nothing was confirmed. We didn't know if it was Bangalore, Bombay date. Nothing was known. It was known mid-year 2025. That's it.
Hmm.
So then Yodha prep we started in. So I did my third 100K in last year's November. So November
Hmm.
22nd was the last. I did my third 100. So then we started prep for Yodha, and that was again. It is like a shortened version of a HYROX. It is all
Okay.
to minus 25% from every run and every exercise. It is
Okay.
like basically 25% lesser effort is Yodha. That is how you do the math.
Hmm. Hmm.
That is how
Hmm.
the conversion is.
Correct.
Uh, so that's the event we registered. Did the Yodha. HYROX was anyways the goal. Yodha was like a stepping stone to get the feel.
Okay.
So and
Okay.
then we start prepping. So building base strength. So
So
December
we,
was
as
day.
in you and your partner together.
No, so the thing is in Yodha we were in individual. So in HYROX also actually we were planning to do individual.
Hmm.
Me and him, basically everyone are individuals. Even in Yodha we
Okay.
did HYROX also without individual. HYROX
Hmm.
registrations are not opened in 2024 of October. So we
Okay.
were still thinking as individuals.
Hmm.
Then we thought let's do Yodha because we are all runners and everyone is hyping
Correct.
us saying you guys will
Correct.
manage it. Okay, we'll manage.
Correct.
And we trained. We did December, we did base training, we did lifted heavy, we did conditioning, everything in ground sport. Then February, January again I did some training here. Then I did half training in Gurgaon because I went to work with the startup. And then we did Yodha. Yodha mein
Hmm.
all were singles. Everybody was singles, and even
Hmm.
I was in a singles category.
Hmm.
And it was an outdoor event. HYROX is an indoor event. Yodha is an outdoor. Equipments are not the same, but like similar standards, movement standard, but manufacturers are different. So we did
Hmm.
the event, and event didn't go as planned. I was expecting to do a quick time. I was expecting a sub 50 minutes. So there because it's 25% lower effort. So HYROX was like 1 hour. So this is 105. Here it will be like 50. So that was a ratio we had. And in training, I did hit 50. Like in training in
Hmm.
Gurgaon, twice I had done similar, and both times I clocked 50 and a 52 or something like. I was already hitting those numbers with the full simulation, with the run,
Okay.
with the weight, with everything. But on
Hmm.
race day, things didn't go according to plan. A lot of things got messed up. Like
Hmm.
we didn't because we not used the format in the sense in an actual
Correct.
event, and equipments are slightly different and
Hmm.
surfaces are different. Wrong choice of shoes from my side. and gear was little off. So, and leading up to the event also, little carb loading and all that went off slightly. I was not 100% fit. I pulled a little near the
Okay.
ab and all, some strain. So,
Hmm.
even didn't, I was okay in terms of muscular, but slightly not
Hmm.
100%. But the performance was very poor. I clocked, I think, 1 hour, 14 minutes or something. I was like almost 25 minutes off my target time. And
Hmm.
there were stations where I fully got smashed, like sled pull, uh, struggled took from instead of 3 minutes, took like 12, 14 minutes actually. Even my doubles partner Pranav and quite a lot of
Hmm.
people, everyone's timings were off. So
Okay.
then, in like because the movements are similar between this and HYROX, except ski
Okay.
erg, which is not there in Yodha,
Not there in
everything is same. And burpees is not there in Yodha. It is a box jump basically. That's it. 30 box
Okay.
jump. It's very different.
Okay.
So rest of
Okay.
the movements are same. So if you're struggling there, you should ideally be. I mean, it will be a mess here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then we realized, like I also felt that okay, I'm not reached my potential. I am
Hmm.
good, but my potential is not known to people because I'm not
Hmm.
executing it right. There's
Hmm.
something that is breaking in the middle. So then I
Hmm.
again got back to like sat and went through my data numbers and then
Hmm.
worked on techniques. So worked on each movement and went through each movement's technique. So then it didn't become just going and doing another HYROX. HYROX became like a point to prove that okay, I can do this,
Okay.
and as not as an individual I will do, but I'll prove only myself. But if
Correct.
me and Pranav, who's my doubles partner now for HYROX, which we won,
Hmm.
that is when I realized that if we team up, we have potential not just to prove ourselves, but to prove to everyone that India has HYROX athletes who can compete with the international standards within the first year itself. Because rest of the countries are ahead by one, two, like their knowledge base is 2, 3 years ahead because they've been doing this.
Yeah.
We are all
Experience.
first year.
Yeah.
So their knowledge base, their refinements are more. Because they have coaches, people who have done at least 10, 15 HYROX. We are all in the
Correct.
first HYROX. So I realized at that time that we can prove ourselves and to the rest of the world that India has HYROX athletes who can actually give stiff competition. And that's when we decided, I told Pranav that we'll team up. So we both in our group decided we'll team up to like get the max out of it. Although we had
Hmm.
weaknesses because our weaknesses were similar and we knew
Hmm.
we had to
Okay.
work on it and we worked on it.
Hmm.
And that's how this team was formed. And then he was training separately. I was in Gurgaon actually. So I was
Okay.
with a gym called CrossFit Life Performance. So even they
Hmm.
were very helpful. They were a CrossFit gym. They were also HYROX training club. They had all the
Hmm.
equipment also, all the stations, everything was available. But I was
Hmm.
training alone there again. So the gym was a
Yeah.
CrossFit. I was doing my own training program in my own. So gym 20 people
Hmm.
are doing something, I'm doing something else. So I
Hmm.
trained there, Pranav trained in Manipal. And then we
Hmm.
didn't actually do even a single training session together. We
Okay.
trained separately. But the
Hmm.
only sync we both have is so when I was doing my engineering in Manipal in 2017 to 2021,
Hmm.
and I'm from Mangalore. So he's from Manipal, but he was in Mangalore. He was studying in Mangalore. We are exactly
Hmm.
opposite. So I used to come up during engineering to Mangalore. So
Uh,
we used to work out in ground sports. So we have that sync. So our running
uh,
speeds match somewhat similar. He's a better runner than me, but I'm a
hmm.
stronger athlete in terms of movement efficiency.
Movements. Huh? Hmm.
So it balances out in
Hmm.
an event like HYROX. So
Okay.
that was anyways with us. We just needed to mentally make up our mind that okay, we are the ones who are going to do this and we're going to
Hmm.
bring the fastest time possible in the first
Hmm.
event.
Hmm.
That's how
Hmm.
we
Hmm.
ended
Hmm.
up doing HYROX in doubles, and it did prove right. Although our target was something else, we had set a higher target, but we still feel that we can achieve that target because we are now more smarter. We know the
Yeah.
tricks.
So you finished in 1 hour 5 minutes, doubles men, Mumbai.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So, like, okay, basically, how was your overall experience as a race? Like, okay, you went to HYROX. How was the experience like? Yeah, what was the exact experience of the race, of the event, on the
Mm.
event perspective? So, what do you have to tell about that?
So the event HYROX in general had an image of being like a world class event, and expectation was in general high because the founders of HYROX are ex Olympic Committee members, so
Okay.
they know how to pull off big scale events.
Hmm.
So and we had seen other countries how the event is organized, and it was quite like professional. So
Hmm.
expectation was something, and it hit that expectation only in terms of organization, operations,
Hmm.
movements, the equipment standard, the flow of events, things in the event arena and stuff was as per expectations, and uh, even international athletes were there. It was I think there was a turnout of 1,800 or 2,000 or something like that, in which all very high 25-30% were foreign athletes. Quite a lot of people
Oh,
at
okay. Oh,
yeah,
so
Dubai.
from foreign also people come here and compete in India.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so HYROX
Okay.
is an open event. It's no
No
restriction
region
in terms
based.
of
Okay.
country. Yeah, it's not you can it's conducted in a country, but people from anywhere across the world can come and do in any event as long as they're able to get the past the immigrations and whatever guidelines are there.
Oh,
They
yeah,
can come
yeah,
and
yeah,
participate.
yeah, yeah. Hmm.
There's those clearances. There's no restriction from HYROX end for the event specifically. So
Okay, so I can go to Dubai and perform. I mean, if it's in
yes,
Middle East or whatever, I can go and perform.
you can go. Yeah, you can just go there and
Right.
you can perform. It's completely open. That's why it
Okay.
becomes purely international.
Okay. So that's nice. So also, since you have completed your first Hyrox and you have won the first Hyrox, did you
Yes.
actually know that you will win this? Like, did you go in a mindset that okay, I can win this, or did you go in a mindset that okay, I'll have to perform and survive, or what was your mindset
So
after? I
going
mean,
to
before the win.
yeah, so as we entered HYROX, so our confidence was not really high because based on what Yoda's situation was, our
Yeah.
confidence was low because as I said, sled pulls was somewhere like instead of 4 minutes, it was like off the chart. It was some 14 minutes, and even Pranav's was high. It was like I think 9 minutes or something. So even if
Mm.
we combine us, you can expect 5 minutes or 4 minutes. You can't expect like 1 minute. We did
Correct. Correct. Correct.
1 minute 21 seconds in HYROX, but that is through like lot of iterations and improving
Mm.
technique. So
Mm.
confidence
Mm.
was not really strong in all the movements, especially sleds was a little off for me also and Pranav.
Right.
But
Mm.
running we were strong because we had our running bases sorted, and
Mm.
that
Mm.
was not
Mm.
an issue. With the movements we had to be careful with was sleds. So and mentally we had kept a target of 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour
Okay.
five, somewhere in that range was a target. But we were not.
Okay.
So Indian we knew we will be very fast. Indian timings we had a feeling that okay we'll be on the podium somewhere if we clock in that range. But international no, we didn't expect in an international level. But in that bracket, in general there are lesser people in 20, sub 29. Most of the elites are above 30 because they've been competing since some time.
Yeah.
They've all crossed 30. So under 29, that kind of timings are low. And in
Mm.
India, we thought okay maybe top three, top five like that, not like first. But
Okay.
then as we went through the event, the sleds and all were moving fast. Like our training had paid off, like whatever plan was, and then we
Mm.
finished much faster than we in terms of those stations. But
Mm.
through the middle of the race, we actually fell off pace. We were actually on track for a sub 16 and the midway. We were exactly 30 minutes in the halfway mark. So ideally, it should go hand in hand because the second half
Yeah.
stations are generally should not take much time. The first half
Much time.
sleds and all should generally take more time because the weight is more and stuff. But second half, as fatigue kicked in, and so there's an indoor event. There is you can't use your GPS watches. The GPS doesn't work, so you have to run on
Oh.
effort. It's an indoor event and it's air conditioned, so there is no
Huh.
regular GPS watches don't work. So we are
Okay.
figuring out our pace based on our exertion or effort. So it is a little more tricky. We are still runners, so we understand where we are at. But otherwise, it's very hard for a new person to figure out what is his speed. He'll not know what speed he's running at. So that mental calculation, I was the one who was calculating. I had written all the cutoffs here on my hand. So sled pull
Mhm.
this time, middle of this thing at this time. So whenever I reach the station, I will see what is the time of the day and what is the time cutoff for us to do sub 60. So that was all
Mhm.
on track till the halfway. Then it went off track, but
Off track.
finally clocked 1:05:58 and ended
Okay.
up on the podium. And I think there's a gap of more almost 2.5 minutes between first and the first place team and the second place, the team which came after us. So
Okay.
yeah, they had won I think the Yodha Bangalore men's doubles. So they were almost
Oh,
two and
okay.
after us. So there was a big margin, 2.5 minutes, quite a big margin. It's like almost an entire station. You're almost an entire station ahead of the other team.
Correct. Okay.
So that was the scene. It was
Okay.
good. Yeah, it was a decent
Yeah.
performance for us. Not our best, but
I
decent.
mean, you've got the flag, so
Yeah,
you've,
yeah,
you've,
we
you've,
got
you've
the
come first in the podium.
yeah, we got the flag home. That is true.
Right, right, right. So let's now go through all the movements of Hyrox. So I mean, all the audience doesn't know like what is Hyrox and everything. So first, let's go through the entire Hyrox event, what is it, and everything in detail, and then let's go through your experience in each of the station, which was the toughest for you, which was easier, and what was the best part, and which one you struggled the most, right? So, and do you think could have been better, or was it the fatigue which kicked in, or was it some of like did you like unintentionally mess up somewhere here and there, it happens because your mindset is somewhere else that you're complete or whatever it is, right? So
True.
yeah. What is it like?
So HYROX is a running and a strength-based strength endurance type kind of workout. There are
Hmm.
8 stations with 1 kilometer of running before every station. So basically 8 kilometers of run and 8 stations is how the program is. You start with a run. You start with a 1 kilometer run. Then you enter the sled station. Sorry, your ski erg. Ski erg is the first station where you do 1 kilometer of ski ergs. In this,
Okay.
ski erg is there's a concept 2 machine. It's a standard across the industry. It's a brand. So it's that ski erg, and you can put any resistance you want. There's no resistance setting as such. Anyone can use any setting and start skiing.
Oh,
It's 1 kilometer
okay.
of skiing. Once that is done, you exit that and then you go into 1 more kilometer of run. Then you enter the sled push station. In sled push, you have different weights based on categories. So men's, I will tell about ours. So men's doubles ours is the men's doubles open. So there's a pro and open men's
Okay.
doubles. It is 150 kgs roughly. It's around 150, 152. There's a slight plus minus that depends then and there. But yeah, 150 is what we consider, and it's a sled push for us. In a pro category, it's 200, 202 or something like that. So that is the sled push for pro. And then again you exit, go for another run. Then you enter the third station, that is sled pull. So that's again a different. It's not the same sled that you're using for push and pull. That's a different section only. For pull, it's a different because
Okay.
the weight is different. So in men's opens, it is 102 kgs for pull, and in pro it is 152. So this is basically the same sled, just that there is a rope and that's hooked onto the one of the sides of the sled. So it's a 12.5 meters. So it is total 50 meters of sled push or pull, whatever. Sleds are always
Okay.
50-meter distances, but 50 meters in total. So the aisle is 12.5. So one way is 12.5, other way is 12.5, 12.5, 12.5. So basically 4 times
Four
you have
times.
to go. 4 times. In push also 4 times, pull also four
Okay.
times. So in pull,
Okay.
just that you have a rope, and that rope is like you can pull the rope, and then you're on the other end of the aisle, and then you
Hmm.
pull the rope. You can either stand and pull, or you can hold and pull, walk back. So you have like a almost like a 4 feet kind of a box in the pulling area. So you have to pull within that area. So you can pull like this. You can pull from between your legs anywhere. You can pull, but you have to pull.
Okay.
That's it.
Full. Yeah.
Walk, yeah. You can use upper body, lower body, whatever
Hmm.
you want. You
Hmm.
pull it.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that is the fourth station. Fifth station again you run. Then you come for the fourth station. Now fourth station is considered to be one of the hardest stations for most people. That
Hmm.
is broad jump burpees. So in broad jump burpees, so already your heart rate is already picking up. Then broad jump burpees it shoots. So this is regular. You just have to do a burpee, get up, and then do a broad jump, and then again do a burpee, again a broad jump. So this goes on for like I think it's 80 meters. Yeah, 80 meters is a number. So that's body weight. There's no weight on you. Just do it for 80 meters. That's it. And
Okay.
then we have again that is just you have to jump, jump, jump. 40, that depends on the course. Some place it's 40 plus 40, some place 12.5, 12.5. It depends
Oh,
on the
okay.
course. Depends completely on the venue because HYROX is not a fixed format. It is the numbers are fixed. The layouts are not fixed. So
Okay.
HYROX
Yeah.
somewhere in abroad, yeah,
Depends on the
maybe something
region.
else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but the total distance you cover is same. So that is
Hmm.
the standard.
Hmm. Hmm.
Then
Hmm.
after broad jump up, you exit, go fifth run, and then enter the fifth station. Fifth station is rowing. This is your regular
Hmm.
against the concept 2 machine,
Okay.
where you row, and it again has a resistance, same like how the ski has a resistance. This also has a resistance, and you can put any 1 to 10 is the settings. You can put any. So I'll talk about the settings also later because
Hmm.
settings is again a technical part of it.
Right.
So in
Right.
this, what happens is you can again set what you want and then row. It's a regular row. It's a cardiovascular rowing. It is not the bodybuilding wala row. It is
Hmm.
more
Hmm.
of a cardiovascular. So this is very close to the Olympic rowing that people do in the Olympic race that you see rowing. This is very similar to that rowing that you see. It's a
Hmm.
similar technique. Then we go to again you run. Then you enter the sixth station. Now,
Hmm.
sixth station is farmer's carry. Farmer's carry, you have two kettlebells, in which for men's regular it is 24 plus 24. In if you're doing pro, it is 32 plus 32, two kettlebells, and that is farmer's carry on your side. You can't rack the kettlebells. It's only you have to keep it on your sides of your body, and then you can run or whatever you want. You can run also with it, but it's just that it can't be racked or cannot be anywhere else. It has to be beside your body on your sideline. That is 200 meters of farmer's carry. So 200 meters you
Okay.
can in the middle you can stop, you can drop it. In doubles we can pass, but you have to ideally you have to till last year the rule was you have to drop it on the ground, then the partners to pick. Now they've started a new rule saying that you can pass from your hand only directly, like the other person can
Uh,
directly. So that's a little tricky because you need to hold it on one side and all that. So that depends on the how you train with your partner.
Partner.
So currently we focus on dropping, picking, another person picks up and finishes. So 200 meters of farmer's carry. Then again you enter the seventh run, and then seventh station is lunges, sandbag lunges specifically. So sandbags are the cylindrical bags that you have. You keep it on your. You have to rack it here. You cannot front rack. You have to rack it on your
Yeah.
shoulder
Yeah.
like a regular back rack only, and you have to lunge. And in lunging, it is 100 meters of lunges. This movement standard is again little. This is slightly tricky because you can't drop this sandbag. You're not allowed to drop it. If you drop it once, you get a warning. Drop it twice. Second time, you get a penalty. So directly they'll add 2 minutes, or I think it's 2 minutes or something like that as a penalty time. It's added on your overall time. They will not stop you there. They will just tell you you got a penalty on your. You can see it on every loop, big screen. Penalty will be written +2, or I'm not sure it's +2 or +3. That keeps changing every year. It's a rule book. So that is added. So you cannot drop the sandbag, but you can leave your hands. It can rest here. Just that it will not fall off from your shoulder. That's the only rule. And you have to lunge. And 100 meters of lunging, no walking in the middle. You have to lunge every step, and your knees have to touch the ground. That is the movement standard, clear movement standard. And as you come back, your knees have to be completely straight, like extended, fully extended. No partial, no half lunging, like where you keep your knee half bent and keep going. No, that is not allowed.
Correct.
You have to completely go down, completely cover. But you can do continuous. You need not break. You can
Yeah,
just
break.
keep walking. So
Okay.
that is the seventh movement. Then eighth again run, and eighth last station. So this 20 kg is one sandbag that is for open. In pro it is 30 kgs. It's a heavier weight, men's pro. And then we have the last movement. So eighth station you run, and then you enter the eighth station. This is wall ball. So wall ball is you have 4 kgs. Sorry, 6 kgs is men's regular, open basically, and pro is 9 kgs. You start with the regular size wall ball. Wall ball is slightly bigger. I mean, those balls are bigger than the medicine balls. Medicine balls are smaller, which you use for
Yeah.
slam ball and all that. So wall
Correct.
balls are a little bigger. They are only meant. They're not meant to slam. They're only to throw to a target. It's more of a. This is actually a pure CrossFit movement. It's very popular in CrossFit. So in this, you have to do 100 repetitions of wall balls. In this, what you do is just a squat. You have to start with the ball in front of your face, squat below parallel, come up. As you come up, you have to throw the ball, release the ball, and hit a target at 9 feet height.
Okay.
Hit that, and you catch it. It's 1 rep. You hit that, and you go somewhere. They generally don't consider. You have to hit it, catch 1 rep. So then you can do
Oh, you
continuous.
have to catch it. You have to
Yeah,
catch it. Else
ideally they
it's
expect you to catch it, but there are sometimes they'll be okay if you just hit it and you run. But ideally you need to catch.
that's the last step, right?
So ideally
Right.
only in the last it happens, but middle ideally they don't allow you to just throw and run. So hit, catch, then you can do it in a cycle. Then you can. It's a repetitive process, 100 reps. For pro, the weight just goes up from 6 becomes 9, but the height does not change. So
Okay.
that is the men's standard, and in the open and the pro. In women's, it's again different. Women's, all the weight is you minus, you take 25%, you cut off everything. So that is how approximately 25 to 30, 25 to 40% reduction in weight. But distances
Okay.
again don't change for women. Women also have to do the same
Distance.
repetition and distance for women, especially in non-weighted movements like your ski, row, all that doesn't change. In all the weighted movements, reduce the weight by 25 to 30, 40%.
Oh.
It's like if you're doing a 150 push sled in open men's, in women's it will be lower. It will be like 100, like that. It will be lower by 25 to 40. So everywhere the weight cuts for them, but the distance and reps does not cut. That will
Okay.
remain the same.
All
So
right. Okay.
that's how it's programmed, so that it is even across categories.
Okay. Okay. So these are the 8 stations, right? So it's the same
The
for men and women both, but slightly lesser weight for the women.
weight, that's the only
Right.
difference.
Yeah. Right. So in these 8 stations, which was the most, challenging or difficult for you and Pranav as a team, or you as an individual? So which was the most, difficult or challenging, and which was the easiest you could easily pull off without getting your heart rate, too much comparatively compared to the any other stations as such?
So in this, actually initially when we went, as I said, when we entered the event, we thought sled push and sled pull will be our hardest movements because that's more of a strength base, and we are
Correct.
not that much strength. So that was initially we thought hardest movements will be sleds, easiest movements will be lunges and wall balls and all that. We'll fly through, we thought. And the rowing and this we were neutral. No rowing, skiing and all, we don't generally push much. So
Correct.
this hardest was sleds, and easiest would have been wall ball and lunges is what we thought. But
Hmm.
the exact reverse happened. So in our hardest movement was lunges was still okay and burpees also, but wall ball is where we actually didn't were not on par in terms of our fitness levels when we were fresh. It's because fatigue built up. So wall ball was one station where we actually went. We our speed reduced. We did long sets. Like I think when we started the movement, Pranav started the when he entered the stage, he started. I remember he did 20 reps, then I did I think 30 reps. So 50 was done there. Then he did another 20, then I did another 25, and then he did 5, something like that. So I accumulated little more, 5, 10 reps. But what happened with that, whatever strategy we had, it became this reps became slow. So it should ideally be in fast, but the reps were becoming
Correct.
slow because our explosiveness had gone. We were not having
Correct.
that. So when you squat and when you get up, there's a huge power transfer happening. People think that from shoulder we are throwing. From shoulder we are not doing anything. Shoulder is just a extension of the like basically force transfer from your hip. It's coming up
Oh,
and
yeah.
just an extension, so it's just going up. So that was weak because hip is already fatigued through all the volume and running. So wall ball was the toughest station for us, or in terms of our capability, it was lower than our expectation. Easiest station was the station that we all struggled in the event before that. That was sled pull. So sled pull, we clocked the fastest time in the full HYROX Mumbai itself. Like 1 hour
Oh,
21 minutes is still one of the fastest times in across the world. Like I think I've only seen one or two other HYROX teams in any category, open, pro, women, whatever category, doubles, any who have clocked like less than 1 hour 21. Most of them, there's I think one team which had done 110 or something somewhere abroad, but otherwise very rarely anyone does sub 130. So we had done 121. It was by far like much ahead than elites also. So our sled pull
okay.
was out of the world. So that was
Okay.
our station which flew. Even sled push was 1 hour 48. Very fast because in ideally in singles you add 1 minute to it is what singles time, but in doubles we were still much faster because our transitions and pulling was the way we did the
Hmm.
pulls was different, and that actually come it's two different time because we both don't pull the same way. Pranav
Correct.
and me pull very differently. I pull in a different technique wherein I don't use my upper body, so you can either stand and pull like a normal rope
Correct. Hmm.
that
Hmm.
uses bicep and again up your lats and your upper
Back.
back.
Yeah.
So I focus more on so there's a walk back technique. It is same like so the inspiration heavily it's drawn from your tug of war. So in tug of war this technique is used. So if you
Hmm.
watch tug of war like proper tug of war events, India I don't think tug of war events are happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Not corporate tug of war. Like
Yeah. Good.
actual like tug of war
Yeah.
where they wear those proper studded shoes and they're like tilting like at an angle of like
Correct. Correct.
huge angle,
Correct.
very
Correct.
tight angles, like 60-degree angles and all. In
Hmm.
those tug of war, they use a technique. So there they don't use their bicep because in tug of war they hold like this for seconds. They hold. They don't. We when we play do tug of war, we just somebody will leave, it'll all go. But there the
Yeah.
tug
Yeah.
of war holds. It'll go on for like 30, 40 seconds. They'll both teams will be like even that
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
handkerchief in the
Hmm.
middle won't move left nor right.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
that they don't use they isometric contractions in the arms. So their arms are straight, but they use a tilt. Their tilt and their feet movement, no,
Correct.
they
Correct.
don't take big
Correct.
steps. They take small steps and they tilt. So
Hmm.
they use their body weight.
Hmm.
So we are light athletes. So ideally we should use the body weight and in general I am slightly weaker on my quads. So my in general muscle strength, my quads are weaker than my hams and glutes. So I had to preserve my quads. So that's why I was
Correct.
not doing a squatting motion. I was doing a tilt, lean and tilt back with
Correct.
a straight
Correct.
arm.
Correct.
And then I
Hmm.
walk back. So I'm not using a lot of my quads. I'm preserving because my knees are almost straight. Very little knee bend is there.
So
So
there is
that
space to walk back.
there is space. There's almost 4 feet or something like that.
Ah,
Like if
okay.
one person lies down like this, no, it's almost his
Ah,
4 to 6
ah, ah.
right. So there's a good amount of space. So I
Hmm.
take 5, 6 steps back, and then again I go front. Again I regrip, and then again I go front, come back. Again I go forward, regrip. Again I come back. So that combined with Pranav, so Pranav does the standing and pulling. So here technically, here the what happens was we balance this out. So this basically got balanced out, and both of our strengths, like he was also training for that. I also trained this technique. So combined this together, it came out very well. So that's how we were able to clock 121
Okay.
in the
Okay.
thread pull. So that became our best movement, and that was like it flew. We didn't realize how 121. It became faster than our farmer's carry because farmer's carry ideally you can run
Mm-hmm.
with the weight, but that took 1 hour 40. But this happened in 1 hour 21. So we
Mm-hmm.
didn't realize when we entered sled pull and exited sled pull. So that was our
Okay.
best.
So if you could give one tip to either improve one's sled pushes or sled pulls,
Hmm.
yeah, what would that be?
So, from a runner's perspective, so in general,
Hmm.
runners are not strength. They have
Hmm.
strength, but they don't have that kind of raw strength.
Hmm.
So, in a moment like HYROX, rest of the things, your skier, rowing, farmer's carry is still doable. Lunges is still okay. It's more of a strength endurance. Wall ball is also again a strength and technique based. But
Hmm.
sled push, you apart from technique, you also need to have some amount of raw strength. You need to have some strength with you. Like you need to be good with like a deadlift or a squat. Like you need to be able to handle that kind of weight because it's an external weight and it's
Correct.
quite a lot of weight because 150 kgs is for a 70 kg athlete is 2x
Right.
weight.
Right.
Pull also it's 102 and I'm again 70. So it is much heavier for us and we don't train at maximal loads. For us, this is quite, for general runners, it is heavy. It is actually heavy because they don't lift so much. Max, one rep max now they don't lift. For us, it's still okay. So in this, so whenever we enter these strength stations, even if you're a very, very good runner, like you may be a very, very good runner, but if you're not accustomed to pushing this kind of load, no, your heart rate will go up one thing and your muscles also can't handle this kind of load. So you will fatigue very fast and lactic accumulates so quickly anaerobically when you're pushing because it's all purely anaerobic. You will not be able to move your legs. It will become like you put cement. It will become heavy.
Okay.
This is a
Okay.
very common thing I've heard from runners who are really good runners also is when they do strength, no, then their running will get compromised. So sled push and pull separately. If you look at sled push, you need to see either your strength is only low, like you're in general, even on a fresh day, you're not able to push the 150 kg for 50 meters unbroken. That means your strength is only an issue. You don't have raw strength. So that you have to work on strength. Like you have to just progressively overload how you do the regular your bodybuilding powerlifting programs, which have how to build strength, not muscle. Muscle may be small, but you're able to push the sled. So that is either you're having strength weakness or else you're having endurance weakness. Generally, strength still people can catch up, but
Hmm.
endurance is what most of the people, even people who are really strong, like who come from good backgrounds in strength, no, can lift 300 kgs. Also, they may be able to sled push. They may be squatting 150 kgs, which is harder than pushing 150, but they will struggle in a moment like this because one is you have accumulation of fatigue from 2 runs before the sled push plus ski. So your heart rate is high, your breathing is off,
Hmm.
and you're already struggling. You're already your heart rate is up, and you're not able to figure out what's happening. Plus your
Okay.
muscles already filling with lactic because they're not used to that kind of aerobic workouts. Or you're going too fast. People tend to start fast
Correct.
also in races,
Yeah.
so you burn out. In this, when you start pushing, you'll feel like the sled is light in the first 12 meters. But if you tend to go too fast, your accumulation of lactic is so high within your muscle, you will not be able to do anything after that. That full station you'll be there only. Like it instead of 3 minutes, it'll take 6 minutes. It'll take double. That's because your muscles are not used to that kind of pre-fatigue, what we call.
Prefect.
Pre-fatigue, I think you use in bodybuilding also. So pre-fatigue, there are some pre-fatigue workouts. Like it's like supersets, but with the
Correct.
same. So here you need to, so you need to pre-fatigue the muscle and then enter the sled push. So if ideally quads and glutes and hams are your major drivers in, or the major muscles that fail in a sled push. So you need to ideally pre-fatigue your weak muscles. So for me, quads is the weak muscle. I'll do wall sit or something which is quad dominant in a pre-fatigue and then enter the sled push. So then I know how it feels like to enter at a fatigued level. So that's how you build strength, endurance in that. If you once you have the strength, if you don't have the strength itself, you can't do that. So that is for sled push. Sled push technically is still sled still moves in the sense you can move it with multiple techniques and energy requirements are similar. Like you can either keep a straight arm, bent arm, or you can rack it here near your forearm all the techniques, just the load distribution, but your energy consumption is still similar. There's not a big difference. Like efficiency wise, not because your feet movement and angles of your feet are very similar, just that your tilt and all that is different. A slight difference in the loading, but it's not a major difference. But there's a huge difference when you come to sled pull because sled pull is more technical than sled push.
Hmm.
Sled push you can somehow push, you can push in this day, it'll just change the loading. But you need to find your efficient technique. For me, the one which works well is the one where I use my forearm, where the
Forearms.
pull is on my forearm. So that
Yeah.
gives me better load distribution than a position where when I'm pushing from here or pushing from here. So
Hmm.
that depends on personal preference. There are elites doing in any technique, whichever suits. Based on your strengths, some people have stronger posterior chain, some have stronger anterior. That depends on your musculature and your training programs, how you have
Hmm.
reached HYROX. So sled push is done, sled pull. So sled pull is technical. Sled pull is again dependent on strength. If you're a stronger athlete and heavier athlete up in upper body strength, you can stand and pull. You can literally stand and pull like this. There are people who can literally pull like this in 2 minutes. They'll stand and pull because they've got upper body strength. But that will, if you only have, but very few people are there who can stand and pull. At an
Correct.
elite level, a lot of people generally do the walk back. So they hold straight arm extended, and then they walk back 2-3 steps, and then they do a pull in the last just to get that extra pull.
Yeah, extra
That is
pull.
again towards it uses your legs also. There is some amount of leg because the technique that, so there are three ways. One is you stand and pull. Other option is you start with the like a squat position with your arms straight, then you get up from the squat and then walk back. That is one
Okay.
technique. The third one is my whatever I do. Keep your arms straight, just tilt back and then start walking. There is no squatting
Yeah.
in mine. So I'm not using my
Okay.
quad. No deep squatting at all in mine. So these three
So that
techniques
works. That works best for you.
that works because it is again heavily posterior chain. It is less of anterior chain. It again works for me. But generally, you will see people doing the second one that is they start like this with the straight arm, not standing and pulling, straight arm. They go into they squat till push their weight back, and then they get up from a squat with that weight, and then they start walking back. So that is like doing a you're basically holding a pole and squatting and then moving back. It's a slightly different movement, but yeah, the quad engagement is more. And again, feet placement. Some people prefer wider feet as they step back. Some people prefer closer feet and smaller steps. So I prefer closer, smaller steps. Some people are comfortable with wider. So that again depends on your. It's same like squatting with a narrow width and a wide width. That depends on. Some are
Right.
good with sumo, some are good with your conventional width. So that again depends on your bone structure and musculature. That is again personal preference. It's all loading that changes. So you need to find what is most efficient for you. For me, it is the
Correct.
tilt because my quads are the one that I want to preserve for the later stations. That's how I look at it.
Okay, so yeah, so sled pushes and pulls are done, and so I would want to ask about the burpee broad jumps, where most of them, suffer and almost try to survive just that one station. So, what is that one tip you think these first time doers or the newbies who do burpee broad jumps do that mistake? Which is what is that mistake, and what do you think should be is the right way, or what worked for you actually?
So the thing with burpee broad jump is even I have not figured out what is the right way for me. I have a strong aerobic base in general because of running and ultra running. So my work capacity is high and I'll be able to manage that spike in heart rate and pace. So burpee broad jump is one of the stations that is more pacing dependent and efficiency. It is less of a power as such. We look at people doing with power, but it's more of a pacing stage. It's like running. So when people start running for the first time, they start fast. They start with whatever they'll feel comfortable at a high speed, but you can't maintain it. So you need to be able to find your speed in burpee. So burpee is also like a pace station, and again it has efficiency. So running also the same. If your efficiency is good, your stride length, your cadence, everything is good. Your landing form, your balance between your two legs, you will be an efficient runner and you will be able to hold higher bases. Same way for burpees. If your technique is flawed, you will not be able to hold a high. Your heart rate will go very high because you're using the wrong muscles or you're overusing the big muscles. So you need to slow down. So when you enter the burpee station, you need to go slow. You need to start slow. Like it's like how you're starting a run. You need to start slow. And there is only 2-3 techniques. There are three techniques actually, but the one common one is the regular burpee. You jump to a burpee and then you come back fully. Like you just jump back from a flat position to a vertical one. You just
Yeah,
hop back.
right.
That is the regular explosive one. But then you have the other one wherein they step back. So basically, once you're down on the burpee, as you come up, you bring one leg back, then bring the other leg. That is a step back. You're not hopping with both legs. You're coming one leg, one leg. And the other one is where when you're coming up, you kneel with one leg. Your right leg knee is touching, and then left leg comes step back, then right leg steps back. That is the third one. So the second and the third ones are not explosive movements. They are just that's a slow recovery. And the first one, what I do is a explosive recovery. So from the ground position, you're coming up at a snap like this. You're just jumping back to the start position. It's the conventional burpee, how burpee is in the textbook. That is how it is. But that spikes your heart rate. So generally for people who are just starting, it's ideally preferred to do the second or the third one. That is where you step back. The step back is slightly easier. The kneel and step back is little more complicated. You need to practice that because that's a coordination. Because you need to know which knee to keep. Otherwise, you'll get stuck in the middle. It'll be an awkward position. So, step back is ideally the one you should, if you're a beginner, to start with. And if you're doing doubles, you can still do the first mode. You can do the explosive version. If you're doing relay, also you can do. But singles, ideally, no. You can go slower, and you need not jump. I mean, you can jump more and cover more, but you need not jump so much. You don't need to use that kind of explosiveness. You need to go at a steady cadence, like the rhythm. 1, 2, 1, 2. So that rhythm has to be maintained in burpees. Burpees are purely cardio station. If you're on and if you do the movement right, so step back is what is preferred for newbies. And don't aim a
Okay.
very intense time looking at elites going at 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes. That is all not possible. That if you can go, then your entire race will also go with that because your heart rate will touch the roof and you will not be
Yeah.
able to run. Unless your running is really strong, which you can maintain because these elites maintain 330 pace in HYROX. Their training pace for running, if they only run, they can run sub 330. So you can imagine their speed per kilometer. So they are not running at their max running speed. They are within
Yeah.
their limits. They also generally
Mm.
are conservative in their burpees. So burpees is one station to take conservatively, not to push.
Mm,
You
mm,
can
mm.
cover up with the two runs. So one run before burpee and after burpee, you can cover up whatever time you lost in burpee instead of
Correct.
going
Yeah.
fast in the burpee and smashing the next 2 3 movements. So that is, it's
So
all about pacing.
correct. So is that allowed, like, to keep the step back and, instead of hopping back in the burpee,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like after you do, it's allowed. Yeah. Okay.
There were discussions, a lot of discussions in this saying that it is not as per the conventional rule book of what a burpee is, but they have allowed it as such in this year's 2026, 25-26, the the season that is started already from the Delhi High Rock. They have not changed the rule. They have kept it open, saying that you can step back, but just that you can't. Whenever you step back, your feet should not cross the line of your palms. Like your palm,
Correct.
you draw a line
Huh.
here, your
Hmm.
hands, your feet shouldn't cross it. That's the only thing. It should be behind the base of your
Yeah.
palm. So you
Okay.
come back by keep your knee and come back. You put your leg step back, whatever. Don't cross your line of your palm is what they say. Not overstep. So that basically then you'll be one step ahead. That's the only thing. And whenever you and before you jump for the next jump, your feet should be parallel. It should not be staggered. Staggered feet is not allowed while jumping. So if you do step back, the feet have to be parallel. If you do so suddenly if you come back also, your feet have to, it should not be like this when you're jumping. The
Oh,
next step, your feet has to be in
right,
line. The
right,
tip
right.
of your toes have to be in line. And when you're coming back, it should be behind your arm, hand basically, palm.
Okay.
As
Okay.
long as these are maintained, you can step back. You can do any kind of the recovery part of the burpee can be step back or a jump. That's a lot.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so in any other movements, like in all the stations of HYROX, is it better, okay, in all the stations of HYROX, is it better to, go full on once and take a break or just pace it up, little by little? Because the stations is what I've heard is like, yeah, you can just go full on in, let's say, sled push or sled pulls, like, go 30 meters, then take a break off, like 10, 15 seconds break, and then finish it off, or is it better if we do, like, if we maintain the pace for all 50 meters or for the entire station until you complete the that particular station, which is more optimal according to you?
In this, it's better to go break it because your running is anyways continuous. So
Hmm.
it's better to always break your workouts into smaller portions or mental targets and do it according to that. Don't go in one flow. You will not be able to maintain that kind of endurance for a long event. You can do that station in practice. Practice even I do 100 wall balls in one shot, but the race you will not be able because there's accumulation. So that doesn't go. And if you do it in the maybe in wall ball you can go all out because the last station, but in rest of them is not recommended because you will accumulate too much fatigue. So your the subsequent stations will suffer. So it's always better to go slower in one moment and maintain a pace in the following moments, subsequent moment, than go fast in one and then fall in all the rest. So it's about maintaining that constant pace through the HYROX. That is why it's
Oh,
recommended to break it, except for like rowing and skiing, which are cardiovascular movements, which are machine-based cardio. These are very low resistance. So these movements you can still go continuous because
continuous.
they're similar like a run only. But the
Hmm.
rest of the movements, wherever there's a weight or you're doing a movement, where there's a physical movement of your body, you better break it. Even burpees can be done continuously, but it depends on how fast you're going. But it preferred that you break it somewhere in
Break
the
it, yeah.
just take a short break, 10 15 seconds, regroup, and then restart. Don't go in one flow. But there
Okay.
are people who do in one flow. For some stations, depending on they're very strong. There are people who do one station in one shot. That is very rare. Like in farmers carry and all, people tend to do in one shot because they have that
Hmm.
kind of strength and ability. So they do one shot farmers carry. So that's up to the athlete. But
To them,
preferred
yeah.
not to. Especially for new people, not preferred. Even if you're feeling fresh in sleds, you do 50 meters of sled push in one shot, 12.5, 12.5, 4 times. By the time you reach sled pull, nothing will be left. You will not be able to pull.
Hmm.
Quads
Full,
will be
right.
out by then. Yeah. Then you can forget about the second half. Lunges and all, you'll not be able to lunge. You'll be at the
Correct.
bottom. So it's a known problem in HYROX or any long event like in a marathon or anything. You start fast, you'll catch fire, and then later you have to just do firefighting. The second half is fully firefighting. When the
So
finish comes,
basically,
that is only the
so
problem.
so it's better to, take your pace from the beginning till the end. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can
somewhere
increase on the way
you
you
can
feel.
increase, yeah, after
You can
that.
increase. It is always a safer way to go
Hmm.
than you go very fast and then go down because then it becomes very hard to sustain
Hmm.
because the movements are demanding through the workout. So there is no movement where you can relax in high rock. Every movement expects you to put some effort, good amount of effort, and all are mostly full body. So you need to be very careful with pacing. So that comes with
Hmm.
practice.
Hmm. Okay. So, and what's with this penalties at HYROX? What
Hmm.
is it like? Yeah.
Penalties is a big thing in high rock. So this is not an issue if you are an athlete who trains with good quality movements in training. So if you train the right movements in the right way, then you need not worry about it because you will not get a penalty as such. Like if you know the right way to do lunges, you know the right way to do wall balls. If you're practicing in the right way, you will not have an issue. Like me, Pranam, and all, we practice the right movements even in practice. So we don't want to take chance. We don't want to do some shortcut just to because we accumulate a lot of reps in training. So if I'm doing training now, my burpees is what I'm training mainly for, little more than other movement. So I'm accumulating 180, 200 reps in one session. So that 200 reps I'm trying to do in good quality, not 100 reps in good and remaining just to finish because my event I will do hardly 40, 45 reps based on my speed. It's 40, 45 reps. But I will still train 180 or 200 with the good technique only and not with crap saying that after 45 I will, anyways, I don't have to do it. It's just for doing, I will not do. I'll do the right movement so that I will do that movement even if you wake me up at night also and tell me to do, I'll do the same movement like that. It's muscle memory is built like that. So if not, or if you're new to HYROX and you're just doing it for the first time and you're not familiar with the movement, then penalty you will surely get because you'll not know what is right. The judges will tell you you're doing wrong, but you need to know what is right also. So it's much more tricky when you're fatigued and in that moment, because it's like there are people, there is music, there is light, so you will not be able to focus. It's very rarely people are able to bring themselves together. So penalties are there across movements. In your ski ergs, as such, penalty is not an issue because it's just a same movement. That is again a machine, so it moves in a fixed movement path. So you just have to ski. In sled pushes, as such, penalty is happens if you cut your lanes, if you go to another person's lane, but that doesn't happen because you can receive when you're pushing. So sled push generally doesn't have penalties. I mean, generally people don't get penalties in sled push. Sled pull is where people start getting penalties. So when you're pulling, if you step, so there are two lines in the front and the back. So you can walk back, but if you either touch the front line or the back line, so before till last year the rule was only back line penalty if you touch the back line, warning and then penalty. I don't remember how much penalty. So that is one thing. And forward line also, there is a warning and then a penalty. I'm not very sure what is the number. I think it's 30 seconds, 1 minute or something. There is a penalty number is added. So if you touch either of these lines, you get a penalty. And if you pull the sled into someone's aisle or if you put your rope in someone else's aisle, like you're pulling the rope, but your rope is not in your box, it is in someone else's box. Because he'll also be pulling, he'll fall on your rope. So you can't obstruct another person. So sled pull, generally people get penalties. Push, they will not get. Very rare. And you should not miss an entire lap. There are times where in that moment, you have to do 4 times. You might do 3 times and go, thinking that I finished. But then if you don't tell the judge, so every time you finish any movements required number, you need to raise your hand and tell that I'm done. So because somebody is watching you, so they'll raise a thumbs up and then you go. You can't just finish and just run away. They will not know. Then they'll just put a penalty. They'll put a plus whatever, 1 minute
So
plus.
even if you finish, they'll put a penalty.
Yeah, you need to raise your hand in any station when you finish. You need to just tell them that you're done. They will not know. There is someone looking at you. You just need one thumbs up from them.
Hmm.
Just an acknowledgement. So
Right.
sled pull, sled push done, and then you go to Fourth moment is burpee broad jump. So burpee broad jump is again high penalties, high amount of penalties here. One is you're tired, plus when you're doing the jump. So every burpee broad jump starts with a burpee, not a broad jump. So when you enter, you'll have one line, starting line. You need to do burpee behind the line. Your fingers can't touch the line. You do a burpee, come up, then do a broad jump. That's why it's called burpee broad jump and not broad jump burpee.
Broad
That's why
jump burpees.
so first you do a burpee, then you do a broad jump. Again do a burpee, again do a broad jump. And in singles, it is still okay. And you cannot, as I said, no staggered feet while jumping. Feet have to be in line. Legs, when you're doing the recovery part of the burpee, should not cross the base of your palm. So all those things are there to be noted. And in doubles, there's one more thing to be noted is when you switch. So in doubles, you can break the exercise between the two people. N number of times you can. So I can do 10 burpees or 10 meters, then my partner can do 10, I can do 10, I can do 5, he can do 5, like that. Any amount of times you can break, n number of times. In this, whenever you switch, so yeah, for example, I do 10 meters, then if Pranav was to do, he has to do a burpee there. He has to do a burpee where I stop, there he has to do a burpee. He's
Then
my
jump.
foot, and then he comes there. There only he has to keep his hand, do a burpee, then do a jump, not jump directly from there. So every broad jump starts with a burpee broad jump starts with a burpee and then a broad jump. So that is one thing we had got a warning also. So I think, first switch, no, I had done the first burpees, I think 7, 8 burpees, and then Pranav came in. He first did a broad jump and then he did a burpee and then he kept going forward. Then they gave him a warning. I didn't realize, but they told him that you have to do a burpee first. But since it's a warning, they let him, like, it's not a big difference. So they told next time you'll get a. So then when I took over, I was going to jump, but then he told you to do a burpee. So I did a burpee and then did a jump. So all those things are there, minute things. So now we know it because we have got
Right.
conditioned. But
Right.
there we were not aware. That actually we got to know during there. We were not conditioned for that. The transition part we didn't. But then since they told us, you need to be alert. You need to keep looking at, because there'll be somebody with you. Some judge will be there with you. So that is done. Then you have fifth moment is rowing. Rowing, again, there's no scope for making any as such errors. Only again one thing is in doubles. So in doubles only where this tricky part in this is singles, because you put your foot lock and then you start. But in doubles, again, you have to, at the end you have to raise your hand. In doubles, when you do a switch, so when you're pulling in this moment, your partner has a place to stand at the back. He has a mat. It will be written doubles on that. He has to stand on that mat. He can't stand somewhere else. He has to be there only, behind. It will be exactly behind. When we swap, I cannot hold the handle and he can't then sit directly and then start. I have to release. I have to lock the
Release
hand.
that.
I have to release the hand.
Yeah.
There's a holder. I have to put it in the holder. Unzip my shoe, the clips. Then bring my feet out. Then I go back. Then he comes. Like, isn't that transition? The machine has to be stationary at that point. I can't
Stationary,
pass the handles and I can't remove one leg and he puts one leg and I remove other. All that is not allowed. I have to completely get out from that seat. Then he completely gets into the seat. It's like a proper exit and entry. So that has to be followed in rowing. Same with the ski also, actually. I forgot in the beginning. In ski also, when you ski like this, I can't pass the ski like this. When he comes, I can't just give the ski to him and I can't go back. I have to release the ski. He has to come and start pulling from up. It has to go back to its neutral position, basically, the movements. So 5 movements are done till rowing. Sixth movement is farmer's carry. In farmer's carry, again, as such, penalties don't happen. As such, there is nothing you can do wrong in it. You have to hold the kettlebell and finish 200 meters and come back. That's it. So in that, there is no penalties that are given.
But you
in
can keep it
farmer's
down
carry.
anywhere you want.
You can drop it. Yeah, you can drop it n number of times. You can keep it on the side. There's no penalty as such. Very, very rare of obstruction and all that, but that is very rare. That is because the aisles of farmers carry is generally narrow, so people tend to clash and all that. So that in all sportsmanship level they may give, but otherwise there is no way of getting penalty in very, very rare cases of farmers carry penalties. So that is one thing. And there is the only penalty there you can get is, so once you finish your farmer's carry, if you go and throw the kettlebell somewhere randomly and go, they'll put penalty. You have to keep it back from where you picked, because it'll all be kept in nice line, and there'll be chalk also. You can use chalk. If you randomly pick up from somewhere, I mean randomly, you just pick up, or you pick the wrong weight also, you're gone. You have to pick your categories weight, and you have to, because there'll be 16, 24, 32, all because women's weight and men's weight are there. So you need to pick your category, go finish and come and keep it in that category section, not somewhere where 16 is kept, you can't keep 32. They'll put penalty. They'll not see. They'll just put +2, and you will not realize because all the kettlebells look same. Just the numbers are different. No? So you finish that, you go. Then you have lunges. In lunges, you can do as such. There is again here there is one or two things. You can't drop your bag. That is one thing. Once your bag is racked on your shoulder, it is done. You have to go till the end with that. And when you're so that is one in terms of racking. In terms of lunging, you can't walk in the middle. There's no, you cannot take even small steps. You have to be lunge, again one more lunge, like alternating. No same leg lunges also. You have to lunge alternating legs, and you have to also touch your knee. Back knee has to touch the ground. So length of the lunge can up to you. You can take wide lunges, narrow lunge. You cannot do side and all, front forward facing only, but you can change the length of your lunge. You can take a longer lunge, shorter lunge, that you can modify. But knee touch, back knee touching, and when you're coming up, your front knee should completely extend. It should be straight. There should not be an angle. That can be given as a penalty, but there are people doing half knee. I've seen a lot of athletes doing half knee. Like they're not fully extended in the top position. In sense, I'm not saying that they have to come back and stand with both knees straight, but when they're walking like this, one by one, when they're walking, their front knee is not fully straight. It is there's like this bend. It is not fully. It has to ideally straighten completely, come back. So that is one movement standard that you have to be very careful. You can get a penalty. You don't want to take chance. Someone spots you, you can put a penalty. So that is one thing. Apart from that, lunges has no issue. Again, there also, whatever sandbag you take, you have to see and take, because there are sandbags of 15, 20, 30. So you have to pick the right one, keep it in place again. You can't throw it somewhere. So this is one more movement done. In doubles, one more thing to note here is same. So if I have to pass it to my partner, I can pass it he can either come back to back and then we can pass, or else he can take it like a front track. Like he'll be behind me. They can front track and back track. We do that. We front track, they can put the back. That is okay. But then again, you have to start from where you stop. That's it. There's no other thing to worry.
But you cannot keep it down and him lifting it from down.
No. You cannot put it down and lift. It has to be at this rack level only.
Rack level. Yeah.
It has to be
from one partner to other.
For the transition, yeah. Or else we can, if my partner is front, I can just bend. He directly puts it on my shoulder and I take. That also works. It depends on your way of doing it.
Correct.
So some people
basically you should not drop it down. That's
it. It should be shoulder level and above. So
above.
Some people what they do is they just lift it like this. The back person just comes and directly he racks it like this. That different way of transition. So that movement is done. Here the penalties only whatever I mentioned, and then we go to wall ball. So wall ball is where people spend maximum time fixing penalties, because in wall ball they don't directly give you penalty, they give you no rep. So here what happens is you have to do the rep. There is no as such concept, very less penalty here. They directly give you no rep. So you'll not be able to pass the station only. You'll get stuck. So here the major issue is depth, and many people have this issue. It is a general issue, not just in HYROX. Even normal people, you tell them to squat, they'll not be able to squat below parallel. The moment they go below parallel, their mobility is poor. Stiff, your calves are stiff, your shins are tight, and ankles are not accustomed to that kind of depth. You'll not be able to go below parallel. Like a normal free squat without any weight, also people can't squat deep in general. Very few people can do it very well. So that itself is a big issue. So then when you're squatting with a weight which is again putting you forward, your squat won't go below. Most of the people won't go below parallel unless they train well. So, and plus you're wearing, so a lot of HYROX athletes tend to wear running shoes, because for HYROX there's no shoe as such called HYROX. I mean, there are HYROX shoes nowadays from Puma's side, but apart from that, other brands have not created HYROX specific shoes which are ground up built for HYROX. They are all mostly running shoes, slightly modified with better grip or better breathability and all that to fit into HYROX. So most of our shoes are running shoes, and running shoes are not recommended anyways for lifting weights. I also don't use running shoes for weights, because when you use running shoes are not built for load bearing. They are built for comfort, cushioning, and for propulsion. So they are more of cushion. They are not of load bearing. So if you add load, the cushion starts feeling wobbly. You can't. There's no stability in terms of the cushion in your running shoes. So this issue you can only feel in heavy movements. You can feel it in most of the movements, but this is very high when you do wall ball. Wall ball you will feel very off balance. Plus your legs are already tired. Plus you're very much more off balance in the wall ball. That's why there is a rule this time that you can remove your shoes in wall ball, but You have to take it with you when you finish the race. You have to carry it with you. That is only because of this. That is mainly because when you do wall ball, as you squat and you look up and throw, when you're tired, your body keeps shifting. Then you can't hit the depth. You
Hmm.
cannot be able to hit the depth. So, and you're losing power and you're losing balance and you're off balance and all these scenes start when your shoes are soft. So, if you're not hitting the shoes is not an issue still. You can remove your shoes, you can do it and finish off and then take the shoes with you to the finish line. But as you're doing the wall ball, if you're not hitting the depth that is there, that is below parallel, slightly below, you have to basically cross not parallel, below parallel is what you have to go, is what is expected as per HYROX. Only then it's a valid rep, provided you come up and then you throw the ball to the 9 feet height. It should hit the target. If it just goes up and comes down, they'll not give count. If it goes 9 feet target and if the ball goes less and comes, no rep it
Hmm.
is. It has to hit the
Hit the
surface.
target.
Yeah, so 9 feet is the men's target, 8 feet is women's targets. They're one below the other. You cannot hit the women's target, hit the men's target only. If you hit the women's target again, no rep. If
No rep.
women hit the men's target, also no rep. Women have hit the women's target only. They can't just throw wherever they want. So
Correct.
just
Correct.
hit the target. One is depth and hit the target for wall ball. But there are cases where people are not. It's not a single fluid movement.
Hmm.
Like it's not a squat and a throw. What's happening is squatting, getting up, and then standing and throwing, or else just doing a hop and throw. That is, I'm not very sure how that is. It is part of the rule book or no. It is not as such. I've not read about it very clearly whether that is part of the rule book or no. But they do allow it because this movement is a little tricky because it requires force transfer and you need people who have practiced it. Like newbie who has not done wall ball will not be able to do wall ball because you need to know how to do thrusters, push press, all a hip dominant movement. People think it's shoulder, but hip it is. So for this, they do allow wherein you squat below parallel, come up, and then they do a small hop like a push press. You lift your heel up and then you throw the ball up like a jerk. How you do a push press or a jerk with the barbell. So they're okay with that. Some judges are okay, and it depends again, subjective. So these are the two things you need to hit the target, squat below parallel. And if you're not squatting below, they will put no rep. And if they give no rep, you have to do the rep. They will not penalty. They'll directly tell you do not count it. The rep is not counted. You continue from wherever you have done. So
Hmm.
that's there is also a concept where if you are not able to squat below parallel or if you're not hitting depth, some judges do give you a box. So especially this is mainly for who are your adaptive athletes who are not fully like physically fit, like they have one arm leg or else they have some people have prosthetics on one leg. So these guys or else for older athletes, generally what they do is they give you a box. They keep a box which you have to touch every rep when you come down. So that is a modified version, but it is generally not done for regular general
Hmm.
population within like some which are under 60 years and above whatever 20, 30. They don't do this. They expect you to do the correct movement. So
Entire rep. Yeah. Yeah.
these are the major high level like penalties. So
Okay.
that's how it is. In running also can get penalties, but running penalties are mainly, so there are actually two, three penalties. So one penalty which is very highly common in races is, so there is an in gate and an out gate. So there is a running zone around, and then there are workouts in the middle. So you have to do the run around these things. And when you're doing these runs, you may have a two loop run circuit or also three loop. Generally, for us in Bombay, it's three. So the rule says that the third time you see that in arch. So there's an in arch and there's an out arch. They're not side by side. They're in two different ends of the venue arena
Cool.
basically. So when you see the in arch for the third time is when you should enter is what they told us. So one time you see it, no. Second time you see it, no. Third time you see it, you enter, do the workout and go out from the out arch. Then again, one time you see the in arch, second time you see the in arch, third time you see the in arch, you enter. Again do the workout and go out from the out. If you enter from the out arch, penalty. Direct they'll put penalty. And if you do lesser rounds, they'll put penalty in the in arch if you do enter with 2 rounds. If you enter with extra rounds, is up to you. They will not do anything, but your time is anyways gone to do an extra round. So that is one thing. So you can't enter from different arches, and you need to keep track of your rounds. You can anyways track. One is mentally, and there's a screen near the in arch, so you can see you're on loop number 1, 2, or 3. So depending on venues, it will be 1, 2, or 3. Generally, I think India's Mumbai and both Delhi were 3 loops. So that is one thing in running that can happen. Plus, once you enter the stations, no, you should do the stations in the order that is mentioned, 1 to 8. You might do in a different order, then also you'll get penalty. They will not disqualify you. I think if you do one station if you do wrong in the sequence, if it is not there, one station is swapped, they will not disqualify. I think they give a penalty, is what I had read. But if you do another station wrong, then you're DNF, you're disqualified, did not finish directly. So that is one thing in terms of shuffling. Apart from that, the run as such, there is one more thing, but it is rare. That is basically, so in a run, there is something called as fast lane. So fast lane is for people who are fast, under 4 minutes per kilometer, for really actually going fast. No, these guys. So the innermost part of the loop is having a tape marking. That's called the fast lane. The inner part of it is called fast lane, and the outer part of it is the regular run lane. So it is expected, or it is given in the guidelines and everywhere, that people who are running at 4 and sub 4 pace should be running in the fast lane, and rest should be outside. So basically, how we run in a general convention track, also what we do is the faster people are in the inner lanes, the slower athletes run out. In a general public track, I'm saying, not training in an Olympic. So that is how we follow in general in running terms. But if you run in this, you can be eligible for a penalty. They do not give as such, but you are eligible for penalty, and if then there's high chance someone will collide with you, because there are people running fast. So there's high chance they will clash, because they'll be running fast and they will not see. So, and then they're much more faster. So if they hit you, may not even fall. You might fall off, because, and most of the elites are quite big also. They're built also better. If they give a slight push, you'll fall. And I mean, there is an issue of sportsmanship for them also in terms of penalty, but they might get waved off if you are in their lane. So they can, it's a contention again. So the rule book says this, and if you do that, so they can be on the right side. So it's better not to run in the fast lane if you're slower. It is expected that you run in the side, because when we were running in Mumbai, big problem. We were running around people. We were not running in the fast lane throughout. Entering the fast lane, exiting the fast lane, entering the fast lane. So it's like running on a 400-meter track, on the first track, but in every loop you are going till the fifth track and coming back. You are going zigzag. So instead of doing 400, we are doing 405, 420, 410, like that. So we are ideally clocking more distance. This happened in Mumbai also with us. So I mean, in general, we expect people to. This is the first event, so we were okay saying that okay, people don't know this much and all that. But ideally, it is expected, and this is the standard in, if you see in international HYROX, where people are going quick, the general population knows that this fast lane not to run there. So it is expected in the future events, even in India, people will start running outside. So that is one faith we have, that they'll follow, so that we'll be able to run fast. That will directly cut a few seconds in that.
Right, of course.
Matter of seconds. So even every loop, if you take 10 seconds, 10 into 8, there only 1 minute is saved.
Yeah,
a very big difference for us.
Is there anything like you didn't expect to happen while in your first race, like HYROX Mumbai, when you did it in May? So was there anything happen like you didn't expect that to happen while in the race, basically, like while you're performing? Any stations or anything as such which you didn't expect, or which you didn't, which you didn't calculate as such, but it was added to the time or whatever it is. Like apart from penalties, I mean, I don't think you had any penalties, but
No. We didn't have any. We had one burpee.
Burpees. Okay.
But
Okay.
no,
Yeah. The one you told. Yeah. Yeah.
there was no penalties as such. Apart from the sled pulls that I told you, that plan versus actual, in terms of what we thought was our strongest and what actually turned out to be our strongest, was different. Actually, in the start of the race, our race was at 12, but it was delayed by half an hour. So 12:30 was our flag off. It got delayed by half an hour. So in HYROX, there's a warm up area before the race. That warm up area, every station that you have in the race is there with all the equipment. So you have every equipment, not one unit of every equipment. You have like five units of every equipment. So you can basically do one HYROX before the HYROX also. That much equipment is around. So everything, rowers, 2-3 rowers, 4-5 skiing machines, and sled pull, sled push, aisles. There are places to full 12-meter aisles are there. So no shortage of warm up area. So we were doing warm up at 11 when we started till 12:45. 11:45, half an hour we did fully warmed up, like completely ready. As we went to the race, so there is the start. There's a tunnel. So there's a tunnel in every HYROX when you start. So there you have to go and assemble. It's like a closed tunnel only, and then you start from the start line. 12 was our flag off. We reached at 11:50 or 11:55. They told that your flag off is delayed by half an hour. We said okay, 12:30 they told us to come. We again went back. Now we already warmed up, so we don't want to do more. Then we'll start building all our whatever we don't want in terms of fatigue. We'll start building.
Right.
We were just doing light movements, doing one rep again, looking around like that. So somehow we passed time till 12:25 or 12:20. And then we again went back saying that now 10 more minutes are there. Let's go to our tunnel. Then we get to know that our wave has already gone. At 12:15 only the full group has flagged off. Then they told that where were you guys? We said that you guys only told us half an hour late, and it was written somewhere saying that this is delayed by half an hour. So this wave is till 12:30 people can go in this wave. It's not late. So then that organizer told, that's okay. Your team, your wave people have started. They have already reached the first station to start. Then we both started late after everyone. So as we started our one thing that happened was because we started late, these guys were already 1-2 stations ahead of us. So by the time we reached burpees, some 2-3 teams had already reached, and our burpee aisles were narrow. It was only 4 lanes. In a
Hmm.
bigger HYROXes, they're big, they're very broad, like as
Hmm.
broad as a running track, like an 8-lane running synthetic track width. Here it's like only 3 or 4 lanes of a synthetic track. It's not narrow. The other problem is it is crowded, no? So we've had traffic in burpee broad jump. So that
Hmm.
was not expected. So that is one more thing which slowed down our burpee slightly. So all those things we didn't expect. That is because of that's what timing goes up down. So but rest of it we pulled through. So there is a few minutes, 1 minute or 45 seconds here and there which got off. So that's it.
Okay.
Otherwise, no major, nothing went very off plan as such. Everything was okay. And the
So how?
yeah,
Yeah.
rock zone is one thing we didn't calculate well. So there
Rock
is this,
zone. Yeah.
yeah, rock zone is basically after you finish the run, when you enter the workout area, there is this area which is called the rock zone where you have to run through that to enter any station. And there only you
Okay.
have your physio, you have your hydration, your
Okay.
electrolyte, everything is in that area. So that zone you need to ideally consider when you're doing. So this will easily take 7 to 10 minutes, 12 minutes, whatever, based on your whether you're running or not in the rock zone. So we took 7 minutes, which we didn't expect. I was expecting 2-3 minutes, but that is at a very ideal case at like a very good venue wherein you have the layout is in a certain way where your minimal gap between your track and the station. But that wasn't the case. We took 7 minutes. It's because when you enter a station, you have to pass all the machines that are kept in the station, come out from the other side, and again come back. So that adds easily 60 70 meters per station. So you can imagine 8 times when you do 6 into whatever 8, if you do, you'll get there itself, you get 480, 500 meters. That's it. So that adds time, and that is
Okay.
time will be more because you're exiting the station. So you're already your muscles and all already fatigued. So you can't
Fatigue.
really burst, and then we tend to take water, 1 or 2 sips. All that adds. So every station, if you take little time also, no, it will accumulated 7 minutes came from rock zone. So rock zone is one more area which is a secret killer. Like you don't know that it is there, but it is there. It will add up
It's
in your time. You will not realize. So that is one more thing to unexpected for us.
okay. Hmm. So I mean, how do you avoid this traffic during the race? Like you told me you had traffic during burpee broad jumps or whatever it is while running. You were going zigzag, zigzag. So how do you, I mean, is there any way to avoid the traffic during Hyrox race?
In running as such, we can't avoid it. Purely depends on organizers. So there were 1 or 2 volunteers here and there who were telling runners who are slower because when you see a runner, you get to know, and if you see a
Yeah,
fast
yeah.
runner, you get to know their relative paces. Oh, this person is running at 4, he's running slower. So they tell these guys to move out of the fast lane. They were telling them, but they're telling them on one side of the loop. By the time they reach this side, they're already again back in the fast lane. So
Hmm. Hmm.
that is why that is again up to the organizers. From
Hmm.
our side, athlete side, that traffic we can't do anything. We can't because if we run in the fast lane, we'll be slow. So we have to do the dodging technique. In the sense, we have to go. So in the that is only going to improve based on knowledge of the participants in general. When all the people get accustomed to the format of HYROX or in the run format, it will automatically solve. So that can't be solved by us. Like I cannot directly impact
Okay.
that. It all depends on the and people in that wave, which wave I'm running or plus minus one wave. It depends on their understanding
Hmm.
of the run part. So that's up to them. So and it's based on organizers. If organizers are the run volunteers are really strict, it can be
Hmm.
managed. So
Hmm.
that is one traffic. And the other traffic on other courses we didn't find, but burpees was mainly because of our flag off. So ideally,
Okay.
if we flag off at the same time, we should not face any traffic in any station as such. So in that also there is a rule wherein if you are entering a station and there is no equipment available for you, they give you bonus time. So it's how penalties you're adding on your overall time. In
Oh.
bonus they subtract time. So I've seen 1 or 2 cases wherein I think in Delhi where they have subtracted time from people's time overall time. So they do subtract. but it's a very very low case. But there is a subtraction logic also where they'll subtract. I don't know how they calculate 1 minute how to subtract, but if you enter a station and you find that there is equipment not available for you, it's occupied, and if you're waiting there, you just tell the judge or they see you, they will note your bib numbers and they will add some plus time on your overall time. I mean, they will subtract that time from your overall time. So you get a bonus. So that is anyways
Oh.
part of in stations if there's traffic. So otherwise, as such, there is no
Okay,
nothing
there's
else that
nothing else
nothing
to
else. It is all
to avoid.
dependent on the people in your wave and your plus minus one wave. Depends on them.
Hmm. All right. So yes, so that was your experience of entire HYROX, and I think we pretty
Yeah.
much covered everything, regarding, the
Yeah.
basic movements or technicalities. Yeah, whatever, based on your experience and the knowledge you got right now, right?
Yes.
So what's your next plan? Like, okay, what is it? You have already conquered the May HYROX Mumbai 2025, and what is your, upcoming plan?
So the next plan is in general for we've conquered the flag, but our target is something higher. So that target is what we're going for again. Expectation that it would be in Bangalore in our home turf, and we thought we'll build all
Okay.
support in our home ground. But then,
State, yeah.
home state. But thing is, it's happening in Mumbai again. Only thing, good thing is it's familiar to us. We know the layout and everything. We're expecting it to be similar because that was fine tuned. So mentally, we have a map saying, this is how it is and whatever. So Mumbai again on 7th September is when the same doubles partner going with same event. Pranav. He's the person who I'm doing this again, but with a higher time. So it's the same target that we had set before, and we're going after that. So that is what is the goals. Everything remains same. Just the strategies. Actually, even the training programs are still very similar to what it was. Slight modifications based on some moves to cut time because based on our previous performances, we know. So we're working on certain specific movements, like how I said, wall ball, or maybe burpees, or your lunges. So we have and the run. Basically, the run is where we are specialized in, and run is what has highest scope for growth in any HYROX because it's 8 times. It's a multiplying factor. Rest everything is one time. So even if you push the sled 1 minute fast, only 1 minute cuts. But if you run fast, you can build a lot more. Like you can save a lot more time with one movement. So run, and there are one or two movements where we are focused now. So it should bring us within the number that we're looking for. After all the unexpected rock zone added, this is the number we were now fine tuned, which was not here. So previous number was based on with a lower rock zone time. The higher rock zone time we have optimized the rest. So numbers are set for each station. Now is what we are executing.
Execution part is ready.
Now is training, mentally getting ready, and
Right.
even transitions. So we need to plan transitions. Now that we know that we're really quick, when we plan transitions, we now become set to like go for higher events like Asian Championship or World Championship or any bigger event because that's when we can represent the country. Otherwise, it will just be that okay, you're fastest in the country, you'll go there and you'll come back. We don't go there and come back. To be on that podiums also. We need to leave a mark there. This is only what's going to bring us there. So that's what we're currently working on, one level of optimization.
So how is your prep going on for HYROX Mumbai on September 7th, which is on September 7th?
So now, as per the training plan that's going on, it has gone exactly as per plan. Whatever base building, because there was a gap from May 2nd, then May full month, June, July, August, and then September. So September is only 7 days. So 4 months, 2 months base building is done. May, June, and July half. So base building is again, base building is a concept more with running because we are again runners. So our principles will be running principles with strength training because we don't look as running as a recovery station. When generally people look at okay, you're more of strength person, so you will see your running they can't push. Running is recovery, workout is workout. So that's how. But to really make a mark in HYROX, you need to look at runs as runs in the sense they are the works, and your stations are ideally not your work. That is when you get a break in, especially doubles, because in singles you option you have to do everything alone. In doubles, your stations are where you are two people, so you can keep transitioning, so you can work strategically there. But runs is where we both have to run together. So he can't run somewhere and I can't run somewhere else. So You have to be equally fast. So this is why for us run becomes the core of HYROX. For us it is running first, and movements is recovery for us ideally in terms of doubles strategies. So base building, running, that is a pure running and strength based base building. 2 months, May, June, and half July is done. Now we are slowly moving into peak training. That is, we are going from 1 rep maxes to 5 rep maxes, 6 rep maxes, and then slowly building into your higher endurance, your hypertrophy type that you call in bodybuilding and general strength training. But we call it strength endurance. So we're working with higher reps, more lower, moderate weights, and low to moderate, which is equivalent to HYROX weight or slightly plus minus. So working in and around that weight range to build your endurance and get your mind ready for that kind of volume. So that is how the peak training. So the August mid or third week is where we'll hit the peak, like the peak in terms of intensity in movements, in runs. So the slow runs start getting faster, 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 and you start hitting those higher paces and higher heart rate zones. And that is how you slowly progress to the event. So now, as of today, as we're ending July, I and Pranav both are on track towards building our HYROX
Okay.
Mumbai September 7th.
Nice. So the prep is going really strong.
Yeah,
Yeah, nice, nice.
going quite quick in the sense as per plan. In the sense we are hitting the numbers, so it's more of a
Right.
numbers game. And we have to hit those numbers, like whatever
Correct.
target is, we should be able to hit. May or may not feel fresh, but I mean, they say that you have to
Yeah.
work based on your what do you say feel is
Feel.
fine, but that is only for people. Yeah, so feel is when
Right.
people work on feel, that is when you're doing base building or you're a recreational athlete where you're not looking at some very high cutoffs where you're not pushing above your limit, you're within your ranges. Then you can go by feel because you need to just get fit, but you're not breaking your head to hit those numbers. But when you're going
Hmm.
chasing numbers or something which is very above your target, you need to really push. So even if you're not feeling fresh
Correct.
today, I have to get the numbers. I have to hit that numbers because
Hmm.
it's purely a numbers game. So it's a different approach when you are training for a target and it's a higher
Target.
target. But if it's like a general target wherein you're recreational, you want to just finish, for people like that, it is not recommended to do that. It's not
Hmm.
required also. You might injure also if you're not, because
Hmm.
with training comes recovery. Then you need to have structured programming and a lot of this. Even we balance strength, like high intensity, low intensity workouts days. Workout may look same. I'm telling 10 people that I'm doing sled pull today. 2 days later, I'm doing sled pull. But the weight and the way the workout is programmed, rest is programmed, the movements in and around that gives a very different effect. So programming
Correct.
is what makes the workout an actual
Better. Yeah.
intensity level. But yeah, just the
Right.
movements will always seem normal in
Correct.
conditioned workouts. It's all only about how you program the rest and work. It's all how you program this and what weights you move and what movements you combine. There'll be
Hmm.
basic movements sometimes, like normal squats and deadlift, but when you combine it is where magic happens. So that is how you build training programs. It's purely programming based. So
Hmm.
that's how the training.
Okay. So since you told the training and recovery part, everything goes hand in hand, right? And also,
Mm.
what do you think is the role of nutrition, recovery, and supplements in HYROX? So,
In general, for HYROX, since HYROX is again an endurance-based sport, and it is not more towards aesthetic. I mean, people work out without t-shirt. That is one. That's just they do it. I mean, there is no rule saying that you have to do with people are doing without t-shirt. All are doing without t-shirt. But me and Pranav don't do without t-shirt.
uh,
We still wear our singlets and we do with sleeveless. We have that way of doing it. It's up to you. Some people generally do because all are removing. They also remove. If you
hmm.
want, you remove. You don't remove. It's one and the same as
Yeah.
long as you perform well. So it's a performance event here, and it's since endurance based. One is your electrolytes and carbohydrate gels that we use for runs and stuff are what are basics that you need. In the sense you want to sustain, you need this. This is a regular, like it's like a run basically. It's a run, but with weights in the middle. So if you see they say it's 50% and 50% weights, but actually it's not 50% running. People's run times are generally more than the time they take in stations. You tend to do, if you take 45 minutes in running, your stations will only take 35 minutes. Your runs will be longer generally. So there's a lot of energy expenditure through the HYROX. So you can use similar tactics that we use in running, that is your carb gels, which have electrolytes generally in them, or you can take extra electrolyte. But problem is extra electrolyte, if you take some, you cannot take any nutritional support or anything from the crowd first. That is one main rule. So you can't take help from outside and give nothing. You take whatever you take with you from the beginning. You come back with whatever you've taken on. You can't throw your stuff and come back on the way. So here one thing is you can use their aid stations which have electrolytes. That depends on what electrolyte they kept. I'm not sure what they keep because I've drank water only. I've not drank electrolyte because I take a carbohydrate gel which already has electrolytes. That's my running carbohydrate gel. So that gel is carbohydrate gel is what you can take because that you can keep. That water you will get anyway. Just this is gel. Electrolytes is difficult to carry in a bottle because have a bottle you need to keep. So here make a new slot for keeping the bottle and or you have to put a like a waste pack. No, you get a waste like that. You have to put it somewhere like that, and then you have to do sled push because you can't hold and pull and push everything at once. So there are ways, but it's not required. You will get electrolytes. Carbohydrate is one thing you can take. That is during event. Pre-workout as such, again, people do take pre-workout caffeine and all that, but I don't take. So my supplement, as such, my supplement things are not very complicated. I take regular whey protein, creatine are the major two supplements, and you have regular your for your regular digestion and gut health and super greens. That's it. Gut health and super greens is same one thing only super greens. So there are only three supplements I take in general, and during run is your gels, energy gels, and electrolytes. But electrolytes I don't use during the HYROX. I use it during my workouts in the middle to drink or after the run or something like that. I use that is a normal electrolyte powder that we have with sodium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium. But otherwise, there are no. I don't use any of the very hyped supplements which are there in general for hypertrophy or for training, which increase your blood flow and all that. I've not tried, so that I cannot comment on. But I don't know how much it will impact. So that is a little bigger topic to discuss on because there is no supplement built for that for HYROX. So whatever is there is from another sport being used here. So people coming from CrossFit will tell this is good. Someone coming from running will tell carbohydrate gel is good. Carbohydrate gel is still a universal. It's a known thing because it's energy expenditure. But people coming from different backgrounds have different ways of fueling or supplements saying which will add value. So there is nothing built for HYROX. It's all combined. But known thing is energy. So as long as you can get energy from carbs, that is one thing which is sorted. That is energy gel. The rest of things are up to you. You can go without any supplements. There are people generally you don't need supplements for this. There's no requirement for your recovery supplements are not needed. That is just I've been taking, so I'm taking since whenever I've been taking. So it may be giving some benefits. Creatine, I know it does give me benefit, but rest of the things I don't know how much of because I've not gone off. I just take it. It's like a habit. So just to hit my macros or numbers that I have. So that is nutrition, and otherwise it's all regular food that is there. I don't have that is low sugar, minimize oil. That's it. There is no restriction that no refined sugar. I eat refined sugar also. I don't have no zero. Mine everything is there. I eat everything because it burns. Because HYROX is more of a carbohydrate type dominant workout. So energy expenditure is high during training. So you need to consume calories first of all, then start focusing on all the extras after that. So macros and micros in general should be there from food. Then you can focus on these. If those are not there, then it will not work because your energy expenditure is very, very high for HYROX in general.
So, what, according to you, is that one nutritional mistake people do on the day of HYROX, or eh, on and around the day of HYROX?
So this major issue is your carbohydrate intake. So you need to you can carb load or not carb load, that's up to you because running also there are people who don't carb load. Even I used to not carb load at one point in time. I used to eat normal food only and I used to enter the event and do decently well. I used not feel energy drops, but I've realized that carb loading does help. I have had improved energy levels and able to sustain higher speeds once I've started carb loading, which is from the last 1 to 2 years. So that does help. So you need to have your energy intake, especially your carbs and the glycogen reserves full. That is one thing. And before a HYROX, you should not start with empty stomach. You will not have energy because most of the HYROX are most of the categories are in the day, but depends. Like in India, it is a single day. In international, it's 3 days. So it depends on when your slot comes. But you should not start a HYROX with an empty stomach and try to pull it off like that. You should always have something. It's like any other general workout advice. When you do any workout, which is purely strength based, then okay, your like a powerlifting, whatever, you need not eat carbs. You can, or bodybuilding, there may be diets where you're purposely not eating carbs on purpose and you're not, maybe not required at that point of time. But for an event like this, where expenditure is you need to have carbs or you need to have the energy sources that you're used to. If you're on a keto diet or other diets, I don't comment because I believe in that balanced. So you can eat keto or whatever, but you need that energy reserves with you. You should always start the event with some energy. At least 1 to 2 hours before the event, you need to consume some calories. You should not enter the event without any energy. So if that is there, at least you'll be able to pull through the event. You might find energy drops in the middle. For that is where we take the gel to optimize when you're at that intensity. But general people, just to finish, you can go without a carb source even during the race. But pre you should have. Post is again recovery. So the same protein and carb can take in the ratios 2:1 or 3:1. You need a little more protein and a little bit of carbs here and there. So that is the regular ratios that we hold. There is no fixed ratio. That is your general post workout drink or a meal.
Okay. Okay. So that's about nutrition. So, and coming back to the workout part, I have one more question. So, right before the HYROX race, how much warm up is too much warm up? Or, what is the intensity or what is the intensity you got to keep, for the warm up right before the race? Or how long before the race you got to start warming up? Yeah.
Yeah, so in this, before the race, even in a tapering program, so as you reach close to the event, as you're reducing your intensity, so that you recover completely before your race day, that is tapering. One is that, and during on the race day before the event when warming up, your goal is to just sharpen your system. In sense, you need to fire all your muscles. You need to be completely ready to recruit whatever muscle or whatever systems that you have, cardiovascular, your muscular, whatever system, they have to be fully primed or ready to take up any load that is given. That is what is the goal of any warm up, that you should be primed to take up any load. And it should be at that, you have to raise your body temperature and heart rate to that level so that, okay, it's ready. It's not, otherwise, what happens when you enter a competition and suddenly you start, so your heart rate will be at 60, suddenly hitting 170, 180 heart rate, you'll feel a big difference. So all your systems will be have to catch up. It will become a huge catch up for them. It's a steep learning curve. In the sense, steep curve for them to adjust to that sudden demand that is placed. So you need to warm up in such a way that this is at a technical level that you're warmed up but you're not fatigued. So this is basically done by moving short bursts of any movement. You can either go with the same weight or you can take slightly heavier. I prefer, what I do is I generally take slightly heavier weight than HYROX weights, and then I do short bursts of movement so that fires up your body. So you just fire up and then you drop the weight to below HYROX weight and then do one or like a 10-20% of the total movement. That if you do a sled push of 50 meters, a 10% of it is 5, 20% is 10 meters. So 10 meters you do with the lower weight just to get a feel of the, so that is to get used to the movement. So all the muscles that are required in that movement are recruited, and a heavier weight with short bursts is just to fire them up. That's it. That's the only goal with warm up. Warm up is just to fire your muscles up. Same with the tapering, but in tapering there's a little different. That's a training program. There is still more volume because you need to still not completely detrain. You have to train, but the volume is lower. In pre-race, the volume is not a major factor. It is mainly to just fire everything up, and your heart rate should move up. So you can do slight like rowing for like 200, 300 meters and cycling for like few 200, 300 meters. So the heart rate goes up. So you raise your heart rate and you have to sharpen all your systems so that it is ready for that. When you suddenly start the race, your heart rate will go up. So if already your heart rate is at 120 or 110, it's already primed. The curve from 60 to 180 to 120 to 180, the gap is very less. So you won't feel overwhelmed suddenly. Your heart rate is already raised, so it is already ready. Systems are all waiting just to attack. Otherwise, if you're in rest and you attack, you will blow up. Like you'll feel a huge effort. Like you'll feel there's a lot of effort being applied, which is true. Your body has to suddenly adjust to a big curve. Now the curve is shorter because you already reached halfway. So that is the only way you need to. But people have different ways to warm up. There are people who some do like an entire movement also. That depends on them. So or they do mental techniques also where they don't move movements, but I mean they don't move anything, but mentally they're visualizing and stuff. I mean, we do visualization, but visualization and all these short bursts, as I said, heavier weight short burst and lower weight, slightly longer rep is what I do. But the people do their own ways. They have everyone has their own way of getting primed before the race day. Because some people do get very nervous also. Some people don't get nervous. We are neutral, like we generally don't get that nervous.
Yeah, how do you,
We
yeah,
control through
mentally
breath.
prepare?
Yeah, it's mainly through breath, but your nervousness and everything, your heart rate, sometimes heart rate goes too high. That's again, breathing too heavily or you're over thinking on some movement. If you're trained for it, you need not start thinking too much because in a race or in any event, lot of movements happen subconsciously. Like we are not consciously focused on the movement. When you run, if I focus, I am left, right, left, then I'll keep doing left, right, left till 100 kilometers. So I can't do left, right, left. I am going subconsciously. Like my body is that muscle memory is there. I am focused on something, but the body is moving in that pattern because I've trained it like that in practice. So that movement is happening because of muscle memory and subconscious. So I just need to fire them up and then focus on maybe only my breath, or else may not even I don't even focus on my breath generally. I just run on feel. I'm in the moment. I'm just keeping track of how I'm feeling, but I'm not checking what's my breath, what is my am I striding more, am I moving fast, all that I don't check. I'm mostly only checking on my effort and just looking around. So I'm not very focused on that because that those systems have to be trained in practice. They can't be trained in the event. You can't control it there because there are too many things happening. It's better to let your body go there. It's mainly breathing. If you're nervous, that's when you start breathing longer
Hmm.
breaths, your deeper breaths in and deeper breaths out. So you control your heart rate. Stay calm. Basically, you have to stay calm. That's it. You have to stay stable. You should not unnecessarily waste energy and thinking about some event or something because you can't do anything at that point because you only have half an hour.
Yeah.
You cannot do anything. I can sit now, like 1 month before, I can sit and break my head, like, oh, my burpees are weak. I can do burpees and I can there I cannot do anything. If I'm not trained, then I'm not trained. I'll just do what I can.
Do complete it, just survive.
If you're, it's based on what you've done and you reached there. If you've done something, you will be able to manage. If you're not done anything, you have to do that only. Whatever happens, happens like that. You have to see what happens. Anyways, in HYROX, you have support. Yeah, you have good support. Volunteers will support. You have good music. You have runners around you who will support. Because majority of the people are doing it for fun. So it is a event that brings people together. So it is more about fun, and we also enjoy it. I mean, we do keep target, but we also enjoying during the run. We are not
Hmm.
dying and doing the event. We are also enjoying that feeling. So
Hmm.
that is how this event is structured.
Nice, nice. So, will the audience be there to support you, cheer? Like, will they be right near the stations or runs or what? Like, how is the audience? I don't know what is it called. Like, is there a specific place to, for the audience
Yeah.
to stand there?
Yeah, so in HYROX there is a proper spectator zone. So
Hmm.
around the track also there are places to stand, and in the middle where there are workout zones,
Hmm.
between some workout zones, basically almost all the workout zones, there is a so if there's a workout zone like this, there will be one path here for volunteer spectators to stand. Then there will be another workout zone here. So there are
Hmm.
gaps in the middle where spectators can enter, and this will be told to everyone in terms of participants and non-participants, that spectators, that these are the places where you can enter in the layout of the race. So you can see spectator areas marked, so you can actually enter there and be close to your athletes, or you can see elite athletes from like how I'm sitting here and the screen is in front of me, that close, because there's just a standee that is block covering this, like separating you
Hmm.
and the
Hmm.
athlete. So
Hmm. Hmm.
spectators are literally beside the athletes in HYROX. So you can see
Hmm.
them
Hmm.
up close. You can see if someone is struggling also, you can see if they're fresh. Everything you will get because they're very, very close. So there's 100% access. Anyone can come. As such, there is no issue as long as they take the spectator, buy the spectator pass from the HYROX website for that particular day. So they get a full day pass. They can just enter and then watch it live.
Right. All right, so I think we have pretty much covered. So one last thing, what I would wanna cover is, okay, what would be that one, tip for a first time, doer, if let's say myself, right? So I'm also planning to, compete in HYROX Mumbai, September 7th, in a opens men singles, right? So what is that one tip which you would give me? Like, yeah, overall tip. What? which would you would give me? So
For any new
any
comer,
new
like
athlete, yes, yes, yes,
any
yes.
new athlete in terms of their baseline, current baseline, if they have not ran, like they don't run at all and they don't lift weights, then it's going to be very, very tough. Like if you 1 month before the event is not recommended at all.
Hmm.
If you're not having any base, no strength, not running 1 month before, no. If you're fully like this kind of fresh athletes, you need minimum like 3 month window because you need to start running and you need to start moving some weight to be able to do the HYROX, and that too you should not do singles. You should do minimum doubles or you should do relay. Relay is just to get a feel of the event, but relay may not be that tough a target for a 3 month window. You can still train and do a doubles and open. Don't touch pro at all. Opens, doubles still okay with a 3 month window for a fresh athlete. But if you're a trained athlete in term any domain, like if you're especially if you're running base, it's very good because this is a running base, and running I mean not sprint athletes. You need minimum, you have to be running 5 10 Ks, that kind of, you should be able to run like a 10K continuously without breaks. So then you're still good enough to do a, you can do a singles also. With a 1 month window, you can do singles, but it'll be a huge struggle if you're just to finish it. So it's again not recommended if you're very close to the event. Do a doubles if you're a good runner. But if you don't have strength base and don't know the movement, you can still team up and somehow you can figure out. I mean, you can just manage the movement. Because if doubles, you can split it. So if you find someone who is a better person with movements, you can easily do a doubles in a 1 month window. Just go through the movements. A lot of people are doing this, and especially runners are just 1 month prep start. I mean, they're able to do it decent 1 hour 30, 1 hour 40 minute time. They're okay. If you have a 3 month window and if you're a very good running base of 10 kilometers, whatever, continuously 15, you can then enter just 3 months. If you have, is a very good time. You can train all the movements with good volume, proper training program. You can go for HYROX singles men open or women, whichever category. You can go for singles. It is recommended. There is no issue at all because 3 months is
Hmm.
a good time to build
Hmm.
base, peak, and then taper. So you'll have decent base. If your running is strong, then strength you can do. Vice versa also works. If you have a good strength base, like you're good with, you can deadlift more than your body weight, you can squat more than your body weight, you can lift good weight, you have muscle mass. So muscle mass may be a issue in terms of movement, like you'll expend more energy. But 3 month, 1 month again, if it's 1 month to the event, doubles is okay because running, if you're not ran at all, then you can still somehow manage a doubles, but it is risky because as you're a strength athlete or you'll have more mass, so running becomes difficult. Higher chance of your shin, knee, ankle, and all these things getting messed up. So ideally, 1 month is close, little risky. Relay is okay. Doubles is risky, but you'll be able to somehow pull through because when you're a strength athlete, you still have that mental toughness. If you're powerlifting, bodybuilding, you know how to push through that. You have that discipline. So you'll be able to manage the run, but as you train and when you build, you will not be able to build volume in running. You maybe max build 5 8 kilometer, 5 to 8 kilometer range, whatever mileage. But that is okay to get you past the line if you have a good partner in doubles. But it's not again not recommended for because you're heavier. If you have 3 months window, it's best. If you have strength, if you're raw strength, you're good bodybuilding physique also. 3 months you can easily hit. You can build the running base because 3 months is a good amount of time for you to build a running base. You can move up to. You will be able to at least do 10 kilometers continuously if you give a 3 month window with any training plan. Comfortably, you'll be able to do with strength. You will lose some muscle mass here and there, but you will be able to maintain your strength. You'll be able to do it because 10 kilometer running won't make you lose that kind of strength. It's not a very big amount of energy expenditure. As long as you maintain your carb intakes and all that, you will not have an issue. You will be able to. But 3 months window with a strength base, you can build the running base in 3 months and do the. You can do the singles. You'll be able to pull the singles. Little difficult and you have to push, but you'll be able to finish the event. Doubles you'll do it much more easier, but you can do a singles with that kind of window. So that is my recommendation based on the whatever you have base. But if you again have both base, like how me, Pranam, and all others who are having strength and endurance base equal, like we have decent amount. Like actually, our running base is stronger than strength, but we have good amount of strength for our relative body weight, and we have good endurance. Such people, 1 month is enough. You just need to get accustomed to the movements, especially if you know what I'm assuming is if you know if you have running and strength base, you are accustomed with these movements because these are fundamental movements. Squat, lunge, your sled push is like a step up, and sled pull is like your. I mean, it's not a regular movement, but you still do pulls like pull ups, your seated rows and everything, and rowing and all these are very fundamental. Farmers carry all fundamental movement. It's not some complicated movement which comes in advance. It starts in easy starting level when it's there. So such people, it is expected that in 1 month, if you just go through this format, you will be set for HYROX. Even singles you'll be able to manage. Timing is not guaranteed, but you will be able to manage the event. If you want to
Mm.
actually do it, it's 3 month window again. You need to go through the cycles
Mm.
of building volume in the movements. Like start from low, then compromised runs, then break the HYROX into first half, second half, then work on certain combination of movements so that you can work on movement. That 3 months you can
Watch.
easily work and really clock a good time, decent time, like a sub 130 and all is highly possible if you train for 3 months. And your running will become better anyways with HYROX. So for runners, it's a good thing. You can, if
Mm.
you're a runner already, training for HYROX for 3 months will make you a better runner anyways. So
Yeah.
especially if you're training for a up to a 21-kilometer distance, you
Mm-hmm.
will half marathon distance, you will become a better runner in general. 42, you may not see that kind of benefit, like because the volume, like the distance is a much more than like the volume that you do for HYROX. But till 21-kilometer distance, you will see benefits in your running. So your running will improve, especially in the 10K, 15K distance range. Your efficiency will improve because of HYROX. If you prep for a HYROX,
Mm.
that is how the training program is.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you so much. And yes, I think we are almost, up to hit 2 hours now. And yeah, I mean, I didn't realize the time, but yes. All right. So thank you so much for your time and, for all the knowledge and all the tips and every detailed, information you have given, you have shared to me and the audience as well. So hopefully you will conquer it this time too. So I'll be hoping for another flag with whatever the number you have in mind. Hopefully you
Yeah,
will hit that, probably better than that. And hopefully even I'll be able to survive this my first
yeah,
Hyrox
you will
being a
survive.
bodybuilder.
Your trajectory is upwards now in terms of it goes up,
Yeah,
strength you will manage because you have the
yeah,
pace and understanding of movements.
yeah.
You just need
Right.
to be good with the running. So if your running trajectory
Running,
looking upwards now,
looking up.
so with the
Yes.
current running base also you'll be able to finish HYROX. That is so for
Right.
sure. Just that
Right. Right.
timing you can improve in the next 1 month based on
Next one.
how you how the training program is structured around running. The strength
Hmm.
movements you'll still figure out. Around running, how it is structured, you will be able to, if you're able to now do 10 kilometers continuously or around 12 kilometers continuously, that means you're actually ready completely for HYROX. If you're able to do,
Hyrox.
if your 5 kilometer pace is X, if your
Hmm.
10 kilometer pace is not very different, like it's not exactly double, like if you're doing 30
Hmm.
minutes for 5 and your 10 kilometers, it will not be 60, it will be slower. If it is still within 65, for 10, it's not an exact double, slightly more than double,
Hmm.
5
Hmm.
minutes. But if you're able to do like that, then you're still quite like you'll do good clock, good time because that
Good.
shows your endurance is expanded, base is
Hmm.
stronger, so you'll be
Hmm.
able to manage a good time, very respectable time with your strength.
Yes. Hopefully. Okay. Anyways, I think that's it for this episode. And thank you so much for your time. And
Thank
yes, hopefully we'll see you again. I mean, we'll be going together to Mumbai.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yes.
yes. All right. Then, do you have anything else to say?
Mm, for people who are thinking about doing HYROX, I know a lot of people seeing HYROX, and I mean they're seeing us doing it, and it looks difficult. I mean, photos and all are very like wide angle, intimidating, and all that, and people without shirt and all look intimidating. But the goal of HYROX has never been, I think, what I have understood from what the in general international event was mainly started was to make it inclusive, like people across any background should be able to do it because that is the goal of fitness in general. That is to make people move to become healthier and
Correct.
better in their general life. So it is the idea of HYROX is just so that you come and you figure out okay what you're capable of. So it's just to for you to expand your skill set. So if you're a weak runner, you become a better runner. If you're a stronger athlete, you need running, you do running. So you get that balance. You become an all-round athlete in terms of athlete, or if you're a non-athlete, you're entering. It gives you a good target to work for because you'll work on multiple skill sets. You'll not just work on only one side of that coin. You'll work on quite a lot of both, almost both sides. There are again aspects which are there over and above that in terms of training. I mean, recovery and nutrition you have to learn with that, but there are other aspects. But you'll still be a better, more rounded athlete in terms of conditioning and fitness. So HYROX is a good option for anybody who wants to try, provided you give a 3 month window. If not, the current HYROX, that is 1 month. 1 month is too close. A little longer window, or like an event next year in like a Bangalore or Mumbai again, that will be a good target. So if you start setting your eyes there, you will be able to you can transform yourself, like your physique, or if you're weight loss and all these are, I know they're aesthetic goals, but this will automatically make you aesthetic because
Aesthetic, right?
just if you go through the program, the workouts are such that you'll be forced to burn that energy, like calorie. Your body will become like an engine. So you will enter one different zone and you'll get fitter. So you'll see physique results. A lot of people are ripped in HYROX because of the workouts they're doing, not because they're working towards that physique. They're getting ripped by the training program that is there. Program itself
Yeah.
is like that. So
Absolutely,
that
absolutely.
is how
Yes.
it is.
Thanks again.
Yep.
Right, right. Thanks again. So, also for all the audience who have come till here, thank you so much for being till the end of the video, and hopefully you'll subscribe the channel, as well as we'll be posting the same things on Instagram as well.
Yes.
So, yeah, Sin.ethix as well as Likhith Shiv Prasad. So,
Yep.
all right, give us a follow, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you very much for being there. Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Thanks.